Played under 18s and 20s at the Roosters, and Sticks used to come into our sheds before first grade games and talk about the importance of this game against South. And we got in a few knuckles against them because Stick used to fire us up. Like, that's legit. Like South and Roosters,
a proper hatred. Yeah.
There's a proper rivalry. The rivalry between Manly and Melbourne was legit as well because they were the two best teams for 10 years through a period. But yeah, this is I'm excited for this game.
All right, what's up? Welcome back in YKTR Sports Nation to the Body Science Content Studio. I'm joined, as always, by my guys, because it's the YKTR Sports Show. Skipper Scope, Isaac John, dapping up Dan Carter. We got a massive show to get into. Obviously, we will review the weekend's footy, all the big storylines, and cast our eye forward to round 3. But before that, this is YKTR. We are player to fan. We are fan to player. And look, when there's news circulating around Nathan Cleary, we only send one guy. We send Scope.
Skipper Scope, baby.
Skipper's got him.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. In Jersey 24, Nathan Cleary. Hear all about it. Here is Scope's interview with Nathan Cleary.
Okay, welcome back to the YKTR Sports Show. He's been a guest on the Scope podcast already a couple of times. Each year we've had you on, but last time we spoke, Nath, you hadn't won a comp, mate. So congratulations off the bat straight away. Unreal job. And getting into the first question, like we said, we haven't spoke to you in a while, but you've got off to a really good start despite yourself missing the first 2 games. First of all, you're proud of the boys to begin with, getting the first 2 dubs, and does it feel like there's something special building there now that you won the GF last year?
Yeah, firstly, thanks for having me, Scope, again. Always a pleasure to come on the show, and thank you for the congratulations on the winning the comp. Yeah, it was pretty crazy times, but very grateful for that. And start of the year, I think it's been really impressive the way the boys have kind of dug deep. I think obviously last weekend against the Dragons definitely wasn't the way we wanted to play, but in saying that, it's always pleasing to win games like that where it's a bit ugly and you can sort of learn lessons from a game that you win rather than one that you lose. So it's been a good start. I think it does. There's obviously a great feeling around at the moment, obviously with so many young boys coming through and all kind of being from the area and growing up together. So it's pretty cool. But in saying that, we still feel like there's a long way to go. We feel like we're all kind of just at the beginning of our journey. It's obviously, a good mix with some older guys there that help us out, and people like up Coruscant. Yoey's really coming into his own as a great player. And, it's just a really good mix at the moment, and, great feel around, great vibe, and it's been good fun.
Yeah, the one part you mentioned there where you probably weren't as happy with your performance against the Dragons. One thing that I talked about, this is pre-recorded, obviously. We're going to put this into the show. Me and Ice just spoke about, 1, the Dragons are a lot better than last year and they really brought it. And 2, you guys probably played a 7 out of 10 and still got the job done. So that must be, really exciting for where you're at this part of the stage, at this stage of the season already, sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely pleasing. And that's something we kind of pride ourselves on as well, is just trying to be just consistent in our performances, even though we know it's not going to be perfect, especially early on in the year, but just trying to, just find ways to win. I think that's very important. Every NRL game is tough to win. So if you can kind of grit through those ones where you're not playing the best, it's very important. And as you said, the Dragons are, they're definitely a better side than what they were last year. We've got some good young kids coming through, very dangerous. And they definitely put up a great fight the other night.
Yeah, they finally got rid of Normie too, and he'll love that LaMelo jersey too, by the way, Normie. But another team that's playing really well to start the season, you've got the Knights this weekend. Before we get to yourself, they're 2-0. You've watched some video on them so far. What do you think of the Knights' first 2 performances?
Yeah, they've been amazing. They look really fit. Obviously, Hayden Knowles has gone up there and got them firing.
And Catman.
And the Catman's up there too. So they're looking really good, playing some good footy. They play quite different to most other teams. They shift the ball a lot, and obviously they've got some strike centres out there in Bradman Best and Dane Gagai. They're getting the ball to them in good positions, and they're great players. And obviously their halves have started the year really well too. Adam Clune and Jay Clifford playing with a lot of confidence, and then you throw someone like Kalen in there, and they're very hard to contain. So going to have to be on our A game, particularly in defence. And and then obviously Daniel Sofidi he hasn't even played the first 2 games, and they've been really dominant through the middle, but he comes back this week. So it's going to be a great test. I think they've started the year better than anyone, and it'll be a great contest.
Well, you talked a little bit about the middle. One guy that's been instrumental for you guys, and we talked about him a fair bit on the show, is Isaiah Yao. Can you just talk a little bit about him? Everyone's sort of starting to realise how good he is. You've probably all known for a while now. Just talk about what he allows you to do in the game, and obviously how well he started the season for you guys.
Yeah, mate, he's honestly unbelievable. I can't speak highly enough of Yowie, and as you said, I don't think people really realise how good he is until you get to play with him and be around him and just understand his knowledge of footy. It's almost like having another halfback out there with you. He does so much, and he's really taken on that leadership role as well. He's great at directing the boys around and telling them what needs to be done, and he's someone that is highly respected in the group, and everyone looks up to him. And his footy knowledge is honestly unbelievable. Someone that plays 80 minutes through the middle, so it's pretty crazy. And you see a lot of teams now with that kind of link man through the middle. The Knights are doing it quite well as well with Kurt Mann jumping in there this year, and he's playing some great footy. But Yoey's, I think he's at the top of that, and it's an absolute pleasure to play alongside him.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings me to my next question. He's sort of been helping out Sean O'Sullivan, directing the club around. You're named in number 24 this week. I'm not going to ask you if you're in or out, because I gather your dad's probably said to keep that on the low, but what sort of boxes have you needed to tick over the last couple of weeks to sort of get yourself in that position to be in the 24 jersey and potentially playing in the next couple of weeks? What do you got to do at training?
Yeah, it's just about trying to get confidence, just tackling again, trying to get that conditioning back in the shoulder, getting used to contact. It's actually feeling really good. And I think the couple of weeks, missing these first 2 weeks have been, just good for me to get mentally strong. And it's probably the hardest thing to overcome coming back from a shoulder, is just that mental side of it, and being confident that you can step into tackles and be as physical as where you need to be to play an NRL game. So, that's kind of been the boxes I've been ticking, just trying to get as much tackling as I can under my belt. And it's still a process at the moment, but it's going well.
All right, well, I wish you all the best, whether you play this weekend, next weekend, or the coming weekends, lad. But just want to also congratulate you and welcome you to the Dynasty League, our Dynasty League, lad. Had a nice little trade. I just want to say, on behalf of the Dead Kittens, we wish you all the best with Albert O in the Denver Broncos. He's got Russell Wilson thrown to him, so glad we could get that trade done, brother.
No, I appreciate that, man. Great minds think alike, and you enjoy that second round pick.
Awesome, brother. All right, good luck in the next couple of weeks and for the season, lad. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, brother.
Right,
always
cheers,
a pleasure.
mate.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Before we rip right in, be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe. That's what pays the bills, man. We call it out every week, and you guys have been awesome doing that.
Pay your rent, baby. Subscribe.
So treat yourself to Scope Podcast as well, for a giggle.
Well, you're there for a giggle. Subscribe to Scope. Oh, podcast review. Leave us a podcast review if you do listen on audio only. Let us know who's got the shittest takes. I know it's not me, but let us know the boys who you're siding with. So
You copped a hammering last week. You're not here.
yeah, well, that's what happens when they're
Oh, did
just
ya?
coming from the top. Yeah.
I need to start reading comments.
No, you don't.
No? Are they nasty, are they?
No, they're
What,
good.
towards me?
No.
Oh.
People love you.
Oh, beautiful.
Or the fence setter.
Yeah.
The man with all the knowledge, Skipper Scope, actually doing his research.
Exactly. All right, speaking of research, we've done our research, 3 of the best. Let's rip into the big topics, attacking footy, Scope. We're going to start with you here. It was the biggest injury of the weekend. Unfortunately, Josh Hodgson's time as a Raider is done. ACL injury, out for the season. Obviously, they've got a ready-made replacement there in Starling, and he was going to Para in 2023 anyway.
Yep.
But talk to me a little bit about Hodgson as a Raider, sort of his legacy there, and then what that injury means for their season.
Sorry, Jack, can I quickly throw to my women's rugby league to kick it off? Or
Oh, you want to do a
that
shout-out
eventually?
before that?
Yeah, I just want to give a little shout-out.
Yeah.
We did it. We started last week while you're away. Dragons player again. The Dragons girls are on fire, coached by Jamie Selwood. There's a couple of players that played really good in a 40-4 win against Newcastle. I caught the Sunday games. I missed a big game on Saturday where the Titans beat the Broncos. They've only lost 2 games in the last so many years. But Emma Tonegado, so she's an Olympian. She played in the Sevens team in rugby union. She was training for the Sevens back in my day, like years ago. She must have been pretty young when she's come through. Boys, she had 16 carries. She plays fullback for them. 16 carries for 193 metres, 2 tries, 2 try assists, and 4 line break assists.
Quiet one. Had a quiet one.
Yeah, she's
Holy
a weapon.
Shit, that's gun.
She's a proper weapon. There's going to be a bit of a decision, I know, because she's come from rugby union. There's a bit of a jostling for, I reckon, New South Wales spots this year with the girls. Like, I've been watching the girls because the game's getting, like I said, we've talked about it, the the competition's getting better for spots for those New South Wales, Queensland spots.
And it just comes with reps, all the games that they've been playing. Like, you look at some of their attacking shape, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game to watch.
Mate, it's like I said, it's getting so much better. So it's really entertaining. I like it. I watch Sunday Footy Show, roll straight into the girls on the Sunday Arvo, and then straight into the boys on 4 o'clock. So shout out to Emma Tonegado.
Beast.
Tyrell Fuimuana's sister plays 6 for him as well. She threw a couple of nice little cutout.
She can tackle too, bro.
She can
tackle.
hit. She can hit. Yeah. So shout out to those 2 girls in particular for the Dragons.
What about her boyfriend throwing shade whenever she puts a shot on? You just go fluke.
So who's Fuimuana's Moana? Is it Fuimuana?
No, Fuimuana.
Moana. Yeah. Who's her boyfriend? So it's
From
Tyrell's
Para?
sister. And Hayes Dunster.
Yeah, Hayes Dunster.
And apparently, so I gave that Shaylee Bent a shout out last week. Apparently, it's David Fafita's missus. It could be wrong. Someone wrote that in the comments as well.
Imagine them having a baby.
Well, see, that's where the 50 metre fucking bust from halfway comes from.
Yeah.
They're competing against each other in the relationship. So, that was. I thought that was pretty cool that someone mentioned that in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Loving the girls' game at the moment. With just quickly before we move off them, when you mentioned the Sevens and rugby union girls coming across, when they expand the comp and your Kiwi Sevens girls, the Tyler Nathan Wongs of the world decide to have a dabble in the NRLW.
Yeah.
She needs to. She's a gun.
Yeah, there's some.
She'll take over that shit, man.
Nathan Wong, she's a gun. She's a gun.
Yeah,
Big
the girls that play in the Sevens, New Zealand
and Australia,
Fiji, Australia, they're fucking weapons, mate. We've talked about it, Ice, because for people that don't know, they used to. I don't know if they still do that. They train at the New South Wales Institute of Sport, which is Narrabeen, and the girls used to train right next to us, and the boys. Bro, it's like they're doing pre-season all year round. I felt so sorry for them. But they're so fit, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're so fit. So I used to see some of these girls that are playing now killing it. So happy, really happy for them.
Yeah, they actually trained so hard, man. I remember one time we done a field session, went for lunch, come back. They started their field session before us, and we come back from lunch, just cruising through, and they're still running these girls. Yeah. And we got a lot of, like, I grew up in Tukador. We had a lot of girls that are real gun, and a lot of them have progressed on, like Chantal Sowers, Amy Turner's played for Australian Sevens, Chelsea, fuck, I forgot her last name. Raquel Anderson Pittman, she's been there as well. Chelsea Alley, she's like the second 5 for the Black Ferns. So we've had some really good chicks come through as well. And they used to play both growing up. So they'd play like rugby on Saturday and league on Sunday as well. So it's not uncommon for them because a lot of the times girl seasons are short and they want to play like touch and rugby and league. There's just got to be that sort of crossover between all of them and just get all the best people in right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, love it. All right, let's move on to the blokes. Josh Hodgson, Scope. Talk to me. ACL injury. He's done. No longer a Raider. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it's sad because he's been a great servant for that club. He sort of was a part of the changeover when I think Stick started identifying English players to come over and change that club. A little bit more used to the weather down there in Canberra than what other recruits would be. But I think did Hodgson come first and then Elliot Whitehead, or the other way around?
I can't remember. It's around the same time.
I feel like they're married together, those two. Like when they come through, that they really changed the culture of the club down there.
Agree.
When he first hit the scene, I remember coming on and didn't really think too much of him at the time because I think he was even a backup for Hull FC over there at one point. I think he was backing up a really good player. Oh, now he's escaping my name.
He played at Hull KR.
He's KR, did he?
Yeah, and he was good over there.
Yeah. But he really shot up over here, and it's sad. He's captain of captain of the club in the last couple of years as well. At times, shared it with Croaks or when Croaks was injured. So it's a big loss for him, but they'll move on. Tom Starling's going to be a good replacement for him. I know Sticks loves him. He's always done a job when he's come on. It's a couple of serious injuries in the last couple of years. When you get into that age, is a bit concerning for. More so for Parramatta now that he's moving on next year. But what about you, Ice?
Yeah, I don't mind. If I'm Parramatta and I know he's a professional and he's going to do what he does, and the first thing is he's probably got great perspective at this stage in his career as well. Obviously, when you have ACLs, when you're a kid, it feels like the world's crumbling in and around you. But he's a lot older. He's a lot mature. Agree with Scope. Basically flipped around that whole Raiders side along with a couple other English imports as well. But I'm not too worried if I'm Parramatta because he's got injured so early. So in theory, he'd be able to play by October. So he's going to get a full preseason and he's going to get around the boys and he's just going to add experience. And like I know Reed's playing really well for Para and he's moving on, but you could sort of liken this move to maybe a Cooper Cronk going towards the Roosters towards the back end of his career. Is he going to be as effective? I don't think so, but knowing the right thing to say at the right time is just as important. And that's a stat you can't measure. That's a stat you won't see on Supercoach behind the goalpost, but it's still really, really important and it's probably the most effective because right now they've got Guffo and Junior and respectfully, they've been hearing that voice for the last couple of years, and they're probably great leaders. But just that little older guy in the middle, steer them around the park, bring a level head. I think it's going to be really good for Parramatta still.
What about the Raiders of this year? So we've obviously, if you followed the YKTR Sports Show in the preseason, for whatever reason, we all slowly decided that we like Canberra. They've started the year pretty well.
For what reason?
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
What does it do? Obviously, we know Starling's a tailor-made. He's ready to roll. But what does it do for the Raiders this year not having Josh Hodgson? Does it
I don't
better, worse? What does it do for him?
A little bit worse, but not too much. I think you've seen the effect of it against the Cowboys. Like they should have rocked up and put a clinic on those boys. But yeah, I think you still got Jordan Rapana to come back.
He's back this week. Yeah,
and you just basically moved their team forward a year. And Tom Starling is going to get more time. He's going to get better. He's going to have to learn how to play 80, or if someone else comes on and covers him for a bit. It's just all those sort of factors come into play. I don't think they get too much worse, respectfully to Josh Hodgson, but I still think they're okay. I think they struggled without their half.
One guy, a little underrated player from the last couple of years that we missed is Saliva Havili.
Yeah,
he was he was good for him. At times they would play all three of them together, but I guess that was a bit of a headache for Sticky trying to find positions for him to get him on. I dare say he would have loved to have Saliva back right now.
I found it interesting that they dragged Matt Frawley into that 14 role. I thought maybe given how well he's been doing in his first 2 rounds of Cup, maybe that would have been where you could get Xavier Savage into your squad somewhere. I don't really know what Matt Frawley as a 14 offers you. I'm not if I'm Canberra.
Do you know the big thing about development? You can't blood them too early, or else like you can not fuck up their career, but you can get off to a really bad start. Best example of this was Kieran Foran and DCE, where they rolled into a good side. They come through winning, ended up winning a comp. You basically set yourself up for the rest of your career. Where you can look at a lot of other examples where they go into, say, a struggling side, they lose their first 4 or 5 games, it starts to like crumble on, like Glenn Fishiahi, for example. Yeah. Like they struggled when he come in and sort of like they float about, you start to lose your confidence.
Yeah.
I think if you're going from a long-term perspective, I think if you look at someone like Xavier Savage and you go, if you play like 7-8 games this year, no matter when they are, like that's a successful season for you. And I know he's talented. I know everyone's trying to push for him right now, but you can probably do more damage than harm. And I remember Gus Gould used to talk about this all the time. They only debut juniors when they're 100% ready.
I think that you're probably right. It probably speaks. Stick obviously has a plan, and despite losing Josh Hodgson, he's not going to move that plan forward, because as soon as I saw that Starling would be your starting 9, I saw a vacant 14 jumper. Our old Bulldog Simi reckons Savage killed it on the weekend, so he's on the ground.
It's still a good call.
Yeah,
I'd have him at 14.
Yeah. What about you, Scope?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I haven't seen enough of the New South Wales Cup to really have a take on it. I think
he had a couple of line breaks, assists, and about 100 odd metres running.
Yeah,
so.
And then just with that, having an outside back on a 14, you've got to have a real plan to, he's probably not going to play him at hooker and lock. So what happens to the rotation of the team? I think that's important. Where a guy like Frawley, he's a guy that's been around. He can play 7, 6. I'd imagine he could give you good service out of 9 if you needed it. So
Val had his number on the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know what he did wrong.
Snap.
Yeah, so Frawley's a bit of a journeyman as well. Like you saw his experience, he's played a fair few games here and overseas. So
he's got that Sean Witherspoon facial hair too, like the high cheek beard. Frawley, very. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. All right, let's move on. A bit of a circus yesterday with the whole Jermaine ISAAKO, but he has officially been released from the Broncos. He's joined the Gold Coast Titans. So obviously he's got a young family. He's signing with Redcliffe from 2023. So he clearly didn't want to move, but wanted to move clubs. There was the whole at 12 p.m. we thought he had gone to Parra at 12:01. It turns out to be a little bit of a Buzz Rothfield fumble there. But Scope, ISAAKO to the Titans. What do you make for it for Brisbane and for the Gold Coast?
I don't think it has a crazy effect on either team, to be fair. I think both teams Broncos obviously really happy with their back 5, and Jermaine would have been disappointed because he played really well in round 1. I thought he was unreal against South. And then Tessie New must have missed that game through any injury or whatever, so he comes back in round 2, takes that spot. And he must have been a bit disappointed to miss out on the team. And, because he's going to Redcliffe, they might have just been, mutually where they went to the club and go, look, this isn't sort of going to play out, I want to play. And then, but when I'm looking at Titans outside backs as well, I can't see him really like
breaking in,
cementing a spot there as well. So I don't think it has a crazy effect. I still think he would probably be a backup because I like both Philip Sammy and Greg Marzu. Like he was missing out round 1 for Corey Thompson at 1. I don't know what happened to Corey Thompson, who was named in round 1 but then didn't play. But I love Marzu and Sammy. So
I could see him potentially, like we spoke about Ice just before you touch on it, potentially moving into the centres role. But Brian Kelly and Paddy Herbert have both had pretty good starts to the year.
They've been solid as well.
Yeah. So what did you make of it for the Broncos first and then for the Gold Coast?
Dumb move. I think Broncos sit in the same quarter of the table as the Titans, and if they do go down with injuries, he's going to plug in and do a really good job. He's an international. I think it's like I love. Obviously, I want him to be happy and move to a club. If he's not happy at the Broncos, he shouldn't be there. But it's just weird. Like say when Cheese was going for all this drama and they're like, oh, if they might release him to the Roosters. You're not going to release a top 5 player to go to one of your competition. Right now, the Broncos might be competing with the Titans for a competition spot. I just find it a weird move. Like, why would you give a really good outside back to your competition and your neighbour and your Queensland rival? I just think it's a weird move. Other side of that as well, I think Scope's right. I just don't know where he plugs in. Where I look at someone like Parramatta, top 4 side, potentially going to win a comp, I would have seen that as a better move. Maybe you don't want to move from home, but move down to Sydney for 6 months. Go into a really good side that's probably going to push for a premiership. Their wingers just got injured, so there's going to be some wing spots there.
They've had 2, so Dunster and Sean Russell, and then they've moved Sisawonga to the wing, and then Wonga Blake. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that para centers are like locked in. And
yeah,
solid.
Opicic is not locked. But BA has shown in the past that he's willing to move Opicic. I like Opicic as well. Tom Opicic. That's a hard last name to get out. But BA has shown that he's not a lock every week. So I reckon that would have been a better opportunity for him.
100%. You go to a better side, challenging for a title. You're down in Sydney for 6 months, different experience. I know he's got a baby and stuff like that as well. But I just find the move kind of weird for everyone.
Yeah.
Good for the Titans.
I think it's good for the Titans. I have a look at their backline.
Yeah.
I have a look at their backline, and Marju has had a history. He struggled with injury. Paddy Herbert has had a lot of knee injuries. Jaden Campbell is a slight fullback. There's no guarantee he's going to play every game this year. And ISAAKO is a tailor-made, ready to roll straight in. And saying that they do have guys like Will Smith that can basically play anywhere, and Corey Thompson. But I think for the Titans, it makes, if you can get him, get him.
I think we've had like 6 or 7 ACL injuries already. I think in the first round there was like 21 injuries all up. So depth is so important, and it's a good snag. It's a good snag from Titans. So good on them.
There you go. Shout out Jermaine ISAAKO, one of the good ones, one of the good Kiwi boys. So,
yeah, good guy, bro.
Good guy. All right, and this was a bit of a media beat up yesterday that got smashed across Fox Sports and NRL 360 respectively. Scope, you haven't really been across this, but I'll give you a bit of a breakdown. So James Roberts and Dane Laurie from the West Coast, from the West Tigers, have come they've been slammed basically for being spotted at the Pokies the night before the Newcastle game. So the full story basically is that they turned up to, is it the Northern Hotel? There's some popular bar up there in Newcastle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it the Northern, is it?
I think it was the Northern.
Fucking pretty busy.
So it was popping. It was popping on a Saturday, and they've rocked in and they've played the Pokies. They apparently were not served alcohol. They didn't drink, and they left it just before 10 p.m.
Yeah.
The Tigers have been approached for comment on, then basically everyone calling them out saying that they're not focused, and it's a slap in the face of the coach. The Tigers themselves have said that the boys they didn't have a curfew, they didn't drink, they broke no rules.
Yep.
The Tigers internally have zero issues with this. What does Scope think about all the beat up on this?
I'm a degenerate, man. I fucking don't mind having a slap and having a punt. I used to punt on, I don't know, the way you'd look at it. I used to go down and have if we played on a Saturday night, I'd go down and spend a couple of hours at the tab and have a bit of a slap. Back in those days, you didn't have the betting sites early on and that. So I used to go have a punt on the horses, just get my mind off it. Like that was something that I enjoyed doing. Or I'd imagine a lot of people from the old school would have see no problem with this. In saying that, if we're going to play devil's advocate straight away on myself, it's like in this day and age, it's a little bit different.
Why?
Just because there's fucking snitches everywhere now. Like there's people that just dob or looking to make some money out of a story. So just got to be aware that there are nerds out there that don't want you to just But a part of it is just for them is just getting their mind. I used to be go for late night walks, especially on away trips as well. Just to get my mind off it.
Stay at Parramatta down in the Rose and Crown, slap.
Yeah. And like I said, you've got betting sites on the phones now. You sit and have a little bet on the basketball or something. I don't know what's late on at night where you can bet on the horses.
Dubai races.
You got Sha Tin that's rolling in Hong Kong. And
where's this camel coming from in the back?
Yeah, you can always find a way to have a cheeky punt together, boys, without having to go down and slap the pokies. I don't know, but
not an issue for you.
Not for me, not really. Yeah, more of an issue is like how the team played on Sunday. But that's what doesn't help, does it? Like if these guys go out and win on the weekend, you probably don't hear about it, do you?
Corey's got a great saying. If it doesn't matter when you're winning, why does it matter when you're losing?
Yeah.
And that's the truest statement that I've heard from him. And obviously, he's a guy who's got in a lot of trouble as well. I just do not see a fucking issue with this whatsoever. And then because the big fucking Fox Sports and all the mainstream media shine light on it as a consumer of their product or their media, you just go, oh, maybe there is something in this as well. It doesn't matter. Guys have always done it. There's no difference from the guys going out to watch a movie on, imagine them going to watch Batman and it started at 8 o'clock and it finishes at 11.
Yeah.
Like that's a perfect example.
That's you're looking at a screen and you're getting entertained. That's the same thing as pokies.
All the young boys sitting out there gaming, yeah.
Or the boys game. I reckon there's a lot more guys gaming.
For sure, till 2 or 3 in the morning.
And just because it's out of sight, no one cares.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue. Obviously, people love to beat up on the Tigers and Maguire's probably job's probably up for stake pretty soon, I reckon, as well. So it's a team that a lot of people love to hate and they just love to shine light on stupid things like this. So non-issue, a lot of great stories in sports right now, and especially rugby league. And fucking who gives a fuck?
Yeah, Scope, can you give it let's try and play devil's advocate here. Players' point of view. If you are Laurie and you're Roberts, you know that the team's under pressure. You know that the spotlight's always on you. Is there an issue at all in going out and being seen doing that, or is it too much to just expect the boys to lock in and be doing homework?
If I'm another player,
if you're another player in that team,
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care.
To be fair,
if you're one of their 5 captains, for example.
Yeah, well.
I'd be more pissed off.
See, that's the problem. They've got 5 captains. Yeah. You know, maybe if it's 1 or 2, but I don't know. I've played in strong teams before with.
You probably play with decent boys who've had a slap before a game too.
Manly used to get on the piss before they used to go play the Warriors and still put it. They used to fly in on a Friday, go out on a Friday night, captains run, and then play on the Sunday and pump the boys and cruise home.
Yeah, we didn't get snitched on, and we didn't have. Do
you know what it is, Scope? You got to have everyone.
We won. We'll go over and beat the Warriors.
Everyone's got to buy in, or you can't have half and half.
Yeah, true. Yeah, sometimes you've got some straighty 180s that might have a problem with it, but I don't know. I haven't been in those locker rooms, or if there are, those boys haven't been outspoken in the locker rooms that I've been in.
And that's like the sort of going out question as well. So some boys play better when they go out. Like I met Michael Hagan at a wedding one time, and I was talking about Andrew Johns. I was sitting on the table with him, and everyone goes to Hagan, how good Joey Johns would have been if he didn't go out on the piss and that. And he actually disagrees. He goes, nah, he needed to go on that to get away from him. So the thing is, we try and treat all these guys the same and expect them to be role models, but that might just be how they relax before a game. Or like Corey, for example, that year, They almost made the finals, and the next year they sat him down like, Corey, we need you here. I want you to stay off the piss for the start of the season. And he was going to go off the piss the whole year, lost the first 6 games in a row. Yeah. And it just didn't suit him, bro. So we can't just expect everyone to be exactly the same all the time.
Not a cookie cutter game.
Yeah, it's not a cookie cutter game, bro.
That's the beauty of Wayne Bennett, apparently. Like the way that he treats every individual without giving them, he just knows how to handle certain personalities, and everyone respects it too, because they know that, some players just need to be. Do you know who's really good
at that, bro? Gus.
Yeah.
He lets you be yourself. He used to organise all the team piss-ups for us as well. So the people will be ringing him up. They're like, you got all your Panthers boys out on the boat, on Mad Monday. Mm-hmm. We were in papers and everything, had people trying to chase us in boats with cameras and stuff. And he goes, yeah, I know, I organised it. And I organised their bus to come home as well. Yeah. So you got to have buy-in from everyone. But yeah, I think Tigers are just an easy beat-up right now. They're an easy story.
I think you're 1,000,000% right. I think if this is Luke Keary and James Tedesco spotted, and then they go out and put a clinic on, I don't think anyone gives a fuck. And also, if you want to go, to your point, beyond footy, like the late, great Shane Warne. Warney was infamous for going out, doing his thing, acting like a larrikin, and then taking 6 wickets. I think the position that the Tigers are in is conflating a situation that doesn't need to be conflated. Win, lose, or draw.
And they both played okay on the weekend. Dane Laurie's been their
James
best
Roberts
player.
obviously got hurt, but he was having a red hot crack.
Yeah, he's got that line breaking. He should have zinged it long. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And Dane Laurie's their best player. He ain't going anywhere. So, all right. Quick little exciting ad read here, Ice, before we rip into the preview. It is time to introduce you guys to Earn You. You're going to be hearing a lot more about this across the YKTR Sports platform over the next few weeks, particularly over the betting show, and Ice will give you guys a bit more of an in-depth explainer soon. But basically, a game we'll be playing each week. It's a gambling alternative where you guys can earn crypto for correctly picking the outcomes of NRL games. So we're merging 2 of Isaac's great loves, footy and crypto. So we've invested 10,000 BetU tokens, which will give you 100 points each week to pick. You can play with. Essentially, you're almost playing with house money here, because there's a potential to win a fuckload if everyone jumps on board, and not a lot of downside. So unlike punting, unlike a lot of other betting apps that we have used in the past, it's win-win here. So whatever you earn from your selections, you get paid in BetU tokens at the end of each round. This week, for example, I'm putting 100 points on a multi, Dragons, Warriors, Titans, Broncos, which we will get into. Get involved, compete with Skipper Scope, compete with me, compete with Ice. Head to earnu.io. We'll put the link in the bio. And like I said, Isaac will give you guys a nice in-depth explainer in the coming weeks, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, just before we break off into the rounds, yeah, it is a little thing that we've been working on with the sponsor, and it's really exciting. It still has the element of gambling. You actually put money on it, but you can bet on like sort of multis, but you don't lose your money afterwards as well. But you have the option to win as well. So it's a community-based crypto token. Sounds super fucking confusing. I'm sure you guys are sure. I'm sure of that, but we'll do some explanations of a little bit later. So
yeah,
shout out to the boys.
Shout out to the boys. Head to Earnu anyway. Head to earnu.io and have a play around. Get yourself familiarized, because as we roll through and we all sort of get behind this thing, the more people that get involved, the more valuable the token goes up. The more value the token goes up.
Exciting.
That's Bunsenville, baby. So, all right, Scope. Let's talk some footy.
Let's get into the footy, baby.
Footy's
been good.
It's
really
previewed.
good for the first couple of weeks. I'm excited for week 3 in particular.
It's been unreal. I think this is, I was talking to Ice earlier in the week. This is, you can make an argument for every single team in every single game this week.
Yeah.
I think it's a red hot coin flip round. But let's start with the Dragons versus the Sharks on Thursday night, Scope. Both sides are in pretty decent form at the moment. I think we've all been pleasantly surprised with the Dragons, although you did mention that you like the Dragons this year. Credit where credit's due.
Again. Another correct take again.
Let's start with the Dragons. Talk a little bit about their performance last week leading into this one. What'd you like?
Yeah, I loved a lot about the Dragons last week. I thought they were really hard done by. The 2 sin bins I thought were really tough on them.
Yeah.
I spoke about it with Ice. You wouldn't miss it last week, Jacko. I said their forward pack was going to be physically ready for the battle. They probably don't have the skill that someone that Isaiah Yao has to dictate the game plan a little bit, which he still did really well. He's unreal.
Stupid, yeah.
But yeah, I thought they were hard done by. They were there to take that game. I thought, obviously had it for the plus 11.5, which was fucking jammed considering they had 2 people sent off at one point. But really tough, mate. Same thing. Every time I watch, Zachy and Moses Sully together, there's a lot to like about the Dragons right now. They've just got I don't know about their depth. That's always been one of my concerns, but I'm excited about what the Dragons are capable of. And even in this game too, I think they're underdogs in this game.
They are, yeah, they are. It's sort of like you're still waiting to see Moses Sully completely unlocked, but if that flick pass sticks to Ravalawa, who knows what happens. But you say that a lot about my mate Ravalawa.
Yeah, old Rocks and Diamonds.
Yeah, much like Scope, I'm really excited about the Dragons this year. They're just a fun side to watch. And I think the first time in a couple of years, I think Dragons fans can actually get excited about who they're supporting. It's not always going to be perfect, but you got a couple young blokes there that are going to rock up and have a red hot crack as well. McCulloch injury goes down. I think it's a chance for Sullivan to come in. I don't know how they're going to play that out. You got Imbai there that can cover a lot. But yeah, like Scope said, they had a couple Simbins and still win the game to compete against the defending champs, minus Nathan Cleary, still a good shot. So I think Kikau just rocked up and done his thing after that little thing.
They have named Moses Imbai in the 9, so we'll wait and see what they do with Bud. But
I think Bud's still injured. He's still coming back.
He is still hurt, but
injury,
he makes too much sense in that 14 jumper. I think when
if he's back, he slots straight into it. He would have been competing with Moses for the 14 job regardless. So if he can get back ASAP. Dragons should be sweet without
love centers, love gun centers. Don't I just love watching.
There's some centers, and we're going to talk about a few later on in the show. For me, the local derbies are so tantalising. Dragons versus Sharks, South versus Roosters, and then over the page, the one to finish off is the Broncos and the Cowboys, which I didn't think I'd be excited about before the season started. But now, now I'm looking. I'm always excited to watch my son play. But I'm really excited for those games in particular.
Ice, before we move off the Dragons, last year, like the entire YKTR Sports Show, the narrative we always spoke about the Dragons was how almost boring they played. Like it was 3 tackles to get that in deep shape, and then eventually nothing fucking happened. But this year, it's like, I don't know whether it's just how direct Ben Hunt's playing or Amon and Sloan sort of unlocking them, but or early ball to the centers. What have you noticed about the Dragons' attack specifically? Because they look like you said, they're now a fun team to watch, and last year they were fucking boring.
I think they're a lot more direct than what they used to be. Like Corey used to play very lateral as well, and when he had success when he was at his prime, that's how it was working for him. So a lot of the times when you're struggling for form, you go back onto what you used to know.
He
never really tried to try anything new, and that's just what worked for him. But you sort of look at someone like a Moan who's nice and direct, come off his right. I think Benny Hunt's been really awesome as well. They're both like short, nuggety, good runners. So good things happens when your halves are running the ball. If you look at any good side, whenever halves are running the ball, that's when you know your team's going well, and those boys are running the ball, and it allows good things to happen off the back of those as well. So just that, I don't know, just got variation. That, like we said, like last year, they used to get to a point for this really long shift, and it was slow, and they get tackled
back the other way.
Then they'll get tackled on the sideline, then a shit kick. There's a lot more direct and just beautiful to watch.
We've talked about it before with too many Chiefs, not enough Indians sort of vibes. Benny Hunt's well and truly their chief now, and he runs it. And then Junior and that they compete on everything, so they don't really have to control too much or dictate, where the offense goes. But when they get an opportunity, they want to take it, and they want to run through. Like him and Tyrell,
they're trying to score.
Every time they get the ball, which is perfect because Hunty can just sort of, get him in the right spots. He's kicking well.
Birdie's a footballer. I really like the inclusion of Jaden Sewer. He's nice and direct. He gives them a bit of a toughness as well to link up with the Bellin. And like their props are doing this. Blake Lowry's playing really well. He's probably the best he's been playing. So when you got all your forwards in form as well, it just sort of the snowball effect of everything outside you as well.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Scope. The Dragons pack, I don't know whether they're playing above their weight, but they have dominated both first contests, and they're going into, obviously the Cronulla's a different beast, but
this is going to be good.
This is going to be good, but they allow guys like Benny Hunt, and the thing just lastly on Benny Hunt, maybe it's like this is just a fan looking, obviously never played the game, but whenever they're under pressure, he seems to come up with the right kick, and he does those ones where he's either chasing a 40-20, and then he's the first one down there, legs tackle, and then that first tackle out of marker, he screams
that
out.
mad jumpy tackle.
He does that first and second out of marker. He has a red hot crack, and he sort of just sets that whole tone. And I don't know, I've been really impressed with the Dragons. But
we were talking a bit more upstairs. I don't think the big old school blocker roach style prop is as relevant as relevant anymore. Like a couple of years ago when the game was a lot slower and defensive, like size mattered. You'd rather have someone who's a little bit smaller and athletic and got leg speed and got great feet and can pass than some big sort of like you look at your Clemmers, your Burgess, those styles of prop. Like size is always going to matter in football, but they're not as relevant as what they used to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like the guys like Paseka and Nelson who have the size but also have a bit to their game.
Adam Fanua Blake
Adam
is my dream prop. Him and Payne House.
Yeah. They're 1 and 1A at the moment. All right, let's move on to Cronulla, Scope. What did you make of obviously the epic finish last week? Got the job done. Nico getting the chocolates. What have you made of them this year and going into this one?
Was the game decided in the last 2 minutes as well? Did I? I think I called that as
well.
I think I called that as well last week. But anyway,
clip that up, Lukey.
The Sharks, impressive as well. They come out, they got Fitzy back. They had a pretty clear-cut game plan. Nico kicks a few more goals. They probably don't have to go all the way down there. But the way that Nico and Moisa linked up in the second half in the Raiders game was even better. I wrote down... I talked about it when I played with Manly, being able to have a shot for a shot. We used to have plays. Cowboys are really good on it. And just before leading up to you're right with the water there. Sorry. The year before they won the grand final in 15, I was sort of playing against them in 13 and 14. They were really good at having shape to set up a shot. So what I meant when they would come from a long field position, they might go one off a tap, and then JT would get in first receiver, and he would tip it on to Tomalolo or whatever. He would have shape out the back of him. Mick Morgan would be coming, and you'd sort of look up and go, shit, like there's so much coming at me. But then they'll just lay a line, and then the line would condense because it puts a lot of stress on the defensive line, and then the shot would actually be coming back, or the shot would be down the short side, depending on what presented itself or what play they got. Before the Katoa try, they had shot for shot for shot.
Yeah.
And that comes down, that's two things. That's one, it's really good coaching. You've got to be able to coach your players up there, and you've got to have really good IQ within the middle. And they've got that now with Dale Finucane, Cam McInnes, these sorts of players. These are experience. This is where you lean on the experience of players like that to be able to get back. Sometimes it's not even in the game plan, right? You might be floating back, and you'll see the typical play. I think it was a cross lead play for people at home that trying to keep it as basic as possible. Jaden Bradley rips it out the back to Nico Hines to eventually score the try. He goes cross, but just to have that awareness, because a lot of the time when you're in middle ice and you're trying to get guys in shape when they're coming back like that, their ass is hanging out because they've taken a carry or they've defended 2 or 3 sets in a row, and they might be looking down at the ground, and you go, give me so and so, and you need to run this, and you've got to be quick in between the ears to get in the shape, and Sharks like that. So I thought that was really impressive, especially the Katoa try. Being able to go shot for shot while also playing tough early on and going through the middle to set that up. I thought that was the most impressive part of the Sharks.
I think that was Moylan's, I was about to say his best game of the year. Got criticised in round 1, probably not as much involvement, a few shaky last tackle options. I thought he was good.
I just want to talk on that as well. So Moyes was getting hammered a little bit in the coverage. For people that don't know, I believe that was a tactic of the Sharks. So what happens was Nico was having a bit of a shot on the last tackle and Moise was getting caught with it. And instead of putting a kick in, he was throwing short to their centres. I think Mulatalo was on the left-hand side or whatever, and they were getting tackled about 5 metres out from the goal line. That's a game plan that teams use these days. Rather than putting it dead and the 7 tackle set, they might just have a shot. Best case scenario, they can beat them or get a little flick pass out and they score a try or whatever. But worst case scenario, they've got them 5 out, 5 in, 5 in, 5 out from the sideline, and then everyone just amps up and has a crack. And I think that's what Craig Fitzgibbon's trying to instill from. So I didn't think Moyes played that bad. I actually thought I was saying I thought he played right. I know he got criticised a little bit, so I just wanted to speak on that.
No, I like the way the Sharks started. Obviously, first game back at the home ground. I was surprised by the home ground. I was like, oh, they're walking into a new stadium here. It's fucking exactly the same. They're just building a hotel next to it. So they've been away home for 2 years for no fucking reason. But yeah, really love how the Sharks sort of started their game. They front-loaded all their energy. Dale Finucane's come sprinting up the tunnel. Did you see Roosters' clip on him? Fuck, I couldn't stop laughing, eh? But they come out and they sit there at 10. I thought Jesse Raymond was aiming up really tough very early on as well. But really liked them, like Scope said, the shift on shift. It's just the way the footy's moving forward right now. And I talked about the big slow prop at the moment. They're not as relevant as what they used to be because they need to be doing effort on efforts, not only in D but also in attack. And sometimes it's just getting back and setting up and, like Scope said, just being in position to drop someone under but only use them as a decoy as well. We touched on Matty Moreland. I thought he was exceptional. From what he had, from how he's been playing, he looks a lot bigger. He looks bigger through the base as well. He's running the ball. So when you're a half, like I said before, when you got confidence, you start running the ball. He's getting his wide passes, cranking off his left, and he's always getting half line breaks all the time. And I actually had lunch with him on the Sunday, and I go, "Oh, how was video and that?" And he reckons he couldn't stop talking about Craig Fitzgibbon and how smart he is. And he goes, "I haven't learned this much about football in a long, long time." And he's someone who football comes natural to him. He's a gifted footballer. He can see it as it is. And he just goes, I haven't learned this much in a long, long time. So he's excited about playing football again. He's got someone he wants to play for and he's got someone teaching him shit as well. So that matters.
The 360 boys had Wade Graham on the panel last night and he basically said the same thing. He just said he's simplified, like it sounds a bit counterintuitive, but he's simplified the game plan so much he comes across as being super intelligent. Like he's simplified it to a point where every single player, regardless of experience and age, understands their role exactly. So he says it sounds like it's a simple way to do it, but he said you got to understand your footy to be able to simplify it like that.
There's a saying: if you can't explain it to an 8-year-old, you don't know what you're talking about.
There you go. Yeah,
there it is. And we have a tendency to complicate football with all the beautiful shapes, and you throw in millions and millions of dollars and sponsors and bright lights and fame like that. At the end of the day, it's a pretty simple game.
Yeah,
and he's probably doing that for them as well. One thing you notice about Sharks, and Scope will be able to testament this, sometimes you look at them outside of the football field, they look like a happy side.
Yeah.
They look like everyone's mixing and mingling. Like that doesn't happen at every club. Some clubs are like high schools where these 4 guys go hang out and these 4 guys go hang out. They look like everyone's sort of getting along as well. So great leadership, great coaching, and I think Sharks is someone to be excited about this year.
Top 5, baby.
I think the fans from both teams, like you talked about with the Dragons, the noise that was coming from the Sharks game as well, I think that's important too. I think, like you said, both fan bases believe in their team this year, and their performance have showed in the first 2 rounds. Even though they lost to the Raiders and Dragons lost to the Panthers, both fan bases will be proud of their efforts, and they're going to be proud this week because these 2 middles are going to go at each other. These 2 teams want to win in the same way. Even though there's flair on the end of it, you have shot for shot, you score some nice tries. these two teams want to go through the middle and earn it with respect through the middle. So I'm excited for that.
I was talking to Matty about the last play. He set up the game winner, and I go, "Did you have that in your mind?" He goes, "I already knew what I was going to do." So he had that play set up a little bit earlier. It just didn't come to fruition. But when the game's on the line. Yeah. And
he knows what he's doing, man.
He knows what he's doing. He went back to something he'd seen probably 10, 20 minutes earlier, put the same play on, and he knew Nico was at the back, so he's going to draw attention. He can strip a 3-on-2, but he sort of just plugged that tiny little out ball, which got him on the outside and over, got him to win.
Love that. And interesting team list. Before we get to our predictions, they have named Trindle on the bench, so he comes back from that two-game suspension for that trial high tackle. It'll be interesting to see how they fit Trindle in, because they do have McInnes, which will be covering that 9 role, so... whether it's simple cover, whether it's they just want to throw him on in the game, and maybe if things start to get a bit stiff and slow, he can ignite it, because he is a good ball runner. But
you put him in a 13 because they're, like Scope said, they're a big shift on shift side as well. So he's got his wits about him. He's smart. He's tough enough, and he's a genuine footballer. So he'd be able to zing the ball out to the boys a little bit wider. I
think how they've named their side, obviously, regardless, more Talo's head knock, so Ikavala comes in, but I think this is very close to being them at full strength. I think this is
Ikavala, man. He's a great pickup. He's a great pickup.
Between him and Katoa, there's 18 tries apiece in those bloody boys this year. All right, let's get a prediction before we move on. Scope, who are you going?
Dragons.
Sharks.
I'll go the Dragons in the upset too, Scope. I'm with you there. I like them. All right, let's move on to the game of the fucking round. This is the one everyone will be setting their alarms for. The Tigers versus the 14th place Warriors. Scope, plenty of noise around the Tigers. Pre-Pokegate. What have you made of them in the last week?
This is an intriguing battle as well. I'm excited to see what this looks like, because there is some promise in these teams too. It's like in particular the Warriors. I think
they should have won.
Warriors needed Reece Walsh round 1, and they would have gone a lot closer to the Dragons. And then this week, if they got Shawnee Johnson just to make a few correct decisions in big moments. One thing I've written down here is I said the Warriors are never out of a game. And that's true to fucking Warriors form forever.
Shout out to the roller coaster, baby.
Both games have had poor starts. They've had to come back and fight their way back into it. They obviously don't want to be starting games like that all the time. But there's something there with the Warriors. I don't know. I'm looking at it going, is it just Shawnee and Reece Walsh getting together, and then those two, building combinations and everyone buying into them? Because at the moment, obviously with Harris DeVita playing fullback round 1, and then he rolls into the 7 this week. Just little things like that, little disruptions where you don't get used to playing consistently in a position.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that Warriors have always lacked, but I think it's there. I think it's there because I love their forward pack. I love Adden. I always, whenever we get a chance to talk about Adden, I talk about Adden. I'm stoked for little fucking Mutters Curran to be getting.
He's good, bro.
We don't deserve him, man. Yeah. We do not deserve him.
No, he re-signed, didn't he?
2024, baby.
That's a lovely signing.
It's unders too, respectfully.
Yeah, that would be unders.
Yeah.
It's good to see him getting not only respect from fans and that. Freddie's come out and said that he's in contention for Origin, or he's on his radar, which is awesome. There's plenty to like about the Warriors. Tigers, on the other hand. They've just got this whole captaincy coach thing might it throws me off. But the spurts when you look at the team and you're like, they should be playing better than what they are. But I don't know, on the Warriors or Tigers for you, Ice?
Yeah, I'm same as Scope. As both teams got enormous potential. Within individuals, they just can't quite piece it together. And I would love to see SJ back in for the Wires, and big fan of Reece Walsh. I think he comes back in and sets up a try and does some great things. So I think that's the beauty about the Warriors, is like the unpredictability of them as well. But I think once SJ and that come in, but that's another 3 weeks away. So could be a tough couple of weeks. Tigers as well. I think Maguire's the first coach to go.
Yeah, see,
he'd be favourite. He'd be early favourite.
He is the early favourite. He got the vote of confidence in the off-season where they basically said, we've re-upped him, we've extended him, we're sticking by him. If you have this 0-3 start, respectfully to my boys, if you lose to the Warriors after all that's gone on at home, I think that noise gets a lot louder. I think after this, by the time we do this show next week, I think there could be a fucking proper Bunsen burner under Madge.
Yeah, and we get to talk to a lot of the football boys as well, and we heard how people are talking about Craig Fitzgibbon right now.
Yeah.
I think if you plugged into that camp and asked a similar question, just casually on a
different
coffee,
noise, yeah.
I don't think you get the same thing. And we said the same thing about Kevin Walters, and he's doing a great job for the Broncos. So we've been proven wrong in that sense. But I think if you go into that Sharks camp and ask around, and I know a few former Tigers players, and I said it's not the best.
The difference with that, Ice, is when we were saying that thing about Kevy, the message was always the same. Great bloke, maybe needs a bit of help around him. And you said that. You never bag Kevy as a
I'll
coach.
say this on Madge as well. I think he's suited to a certain sort of team. I think if a few things are in place, he's obviously shown that he's a coach that can win a grand final with a good locker room and, strong leaders. I don't think they've got strong leaders at the Tigers at the moment. I don't think
he's five of them.
He's not a rebuild coach for me. He's you put him with a decent roster, and I'm sure most coaches would like a decent roster, but I think in particular, like if you're close to maybe getting into the top 8 or top 4, he'd be an all right option, but I just don't think it's it for the Tigers. And maybe it's best for everyone if he just moves on.
I think just on the Tigers, so they did name Jackson Hastings, but he obviously failed at the judiciary last night, so he is suspended. I think that will make way for Jock Madden. We're finally going to get to see this kid.
Yeah,
get
he
a
looked
crack.
all right in the trials.
Yeah, he's looked all right. He's obviously the Aussie Schoolboys. I think he captained the Aussie Schoolboys for a moment there. He's had big reps on him for a long time. I know the Panthers, before they got my boy O'Sullivan, they were sniffing around. They were having a crack. So if the Panthers are having a look, you must have something about you. So hopefully Jock Madden gets a run and hopefully kills it, but still loses by 1 to my boys. And just lastly on the Warriors, I know this is their third halves combination in 3 weeks, but this is their most established spine in terms of experience together. So last year it was Egan, Cody, Chanel, and Reese.
Wade Egan's been good,
shout out to
bro.
Wade Egan.
He's been really
killing
good.
it, bro.
He's been really good. So this is the spine that last year had a bit of a run. I think they won 5 in a row together or something like that. So they have played together as a spine. And shout out to Jesse Arthurs as well on his Warriors debut. He killed it last week. So in a losing side. Little snack. So Scope, in the game of the round, who are you going?
Warriors.
You know the Warriors?
Yeah.
You're thinking about Tigers, eh?
I'm thinking about
if
Hastings was playing, I'd go Tigers, but now I know he's out, I'll go Waz.
Yeah,
Come on, Waz. Fuck you.
You know what I'm 13 plus, you useless fucks. Come on, get up. All right, let's move on to the Souths versus the Roosters. Latrell versus Joey Manu. Let's get a bit of grudge. Build it up, Scope. What have you made of Souths? Obviously, 0-2 start. Coming up against now the Red Hot Roosters after what was a slow round 1.
Once again, another great take from Scope. Souths are going to start slow, but I thought they really found it at the back end of that Storm game.
Had no right to.
Yeah, and they probably didn't have a right to, but guess what? You're strong. You got strong leaders, a team that's been there about, and they've got proven methods. So during the commentary, in particular, I was listening to them. They're like, why does Souths keep going back to this play? It's not working. Maybe they've got to change it up. They've got to find new ways. It's been proven. They've dominated on that left edge for fucking 2 or 3 years now. So they stuck solid with it. They were unlucky because Alex Johnson dropped a couple that he should take in.
And they
should have at least had 2 more. He's a really good winger. He comes up with those plays most of the time. Just the timing was off, which I said was going to happen with, Latrell missing a bit of footy, Cody finding his way with Lachlan Ilias. But they got it at the back end of the game, and I think it's going to serve them well for this week. I appreciate that they didn't get away from the game plan. They were relentless with something that they know that works for them, and they kept on going at it, and they didn't get the result. They didn't get the win, but I think they'll take a lot out of it.
Scope, we watched we watched South with a few better bears in us, but what do you make of their performance?
I think they start the season 0-4, eh? I think they're going to go up against the Roosters this week. They're rolling into Panthers next week as well. Nathan Cleary will be back.
It's a rough draw to start.
It's the roughest draw you could have got.
I think they have Manly thereafter. I'll bring it up and continue.
Oh, that's a win.
Yeah.
But like Scope said, there's the shape's beautiful, but it's just missing that final little bit of polish on their end as well. And I was just watching the game and I was like, fuck, Adam Reynolds' stocks are just going up and up, and he hasn't even played a game for the Broncos at this time. So I still think they're missing. I think Gagai's been a big miss for him as well. I think what he's been able to do in Newcastle has been huge, but there's enough talent there. I think Jai Arrow's been big for their forward pack. He's coming out, but they're rolling up against a Rooster side this week, probably in the rain as well. I think the boys might just be able to grind him out.
Yeah, Scope, Roosters, obviously the bounce back that we all thought was going to happen. I thought Sammy Walker in particular was...
Sam Walker was playing backyard footy.
And he did have a few bumps and bruises, I'm sure, from Ola Kawatu getting the fucking bumper bars up. But what did you make of the Roosters?
Yeah, just when you're seeing it playing out in the first 5 minutes, you could see it coming. As a Manly fan, and I've got a lot of good mates that still play for Manly, it was just like... I was more disappointed with what Manly was tossing up rather than as good.
You expected that from the Roosters.
Yeah, Roosters. I knew what Roosters. I knew Robbo was going to come out with good game plan. We talked about him. A few of the boys said they were underdone. They didn't look underdone. Takiaho was impressive.
Coming
off the bench. Coming off the bench and starting against Manly. Yeah, just typical Roosters performance at this time of the year. They're always well prepared. They had a bit of a blip in round 1, but they come out and did the right job in round 2.
What about your boys, Ice? Back on the bandwagon.
My boys, that's why I support them. Nah, just big fan of how they played, nice and direct. Like you said, Sammy Walker was elite, coming off the left early on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the theme of this show is when halves run, that's when you know you're in form. And to get yourself into form when you're out of form is to start running early, get an early touch, get an early run, early tackle, and he was there. Kerry had a couple nice touches, putting Tupanua over as well. Tupa was gun in the air. I think Robbo touched on that. So went up against Saab, who both... and put a clinic on him as well.
Yeah.
So, I love the Roosters' performance, and now they just sort of get into the rhythm and get into their season and start rolling from there and just keep going on and on.
Benji spoke about that, and I think the post-game, he talks about when he was at the Tigers and he was a young half, very similar to Sam Walker, like came in with all the, highlights and bells and whistles, and he said whenever he would either physically get a bit, because, he was a skinny kid as well, so was Sam Walker, or form dipped a little bit, Tim Sheens would go, I need 3 runs in the first 10 or 15 minutes. And he goes, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about the last tackle options. Obviously, he had a guy like Scotty Prince and all that, but he just said, run the footy. I don't care if you get driven back 10 metres. I don't care if you get a slow play of the ball. Run the ball 3 times the first 10 or 15. And Benji just said it always, every time without fail, used to open up his whole game.
Yeah, so important because sometimes and especially when you're half and you're like a special half like Benji and Sam Walker, sometimes when you go into the game, you start thinking about all the pretty stuff. Like
Sean obviously is guilty of that a lot as well. Yeah.
Chip and chase, this long ball is going to be mad. Oh, these kicks are going to be mad. You don't really think about, all right, I'm going to drive this cunt back into the fucking ground.
Yeah.
So it is like Benji's spot on. He's one of the best to ever do it and one of the most talented. Sometimes you take it into the line and someone puts a shot on you, or you get on the ground and the back row has finally got his hands on you, so he digs your forearm to the head like that.
Yeah.
Man, it gets you in the game and it gets you playing nice and direct. Once you start looking for contact, and especially with attack, you start playing a lot more direct and a lot more better, and it helps everyone else around you. And he's not scared of contact.
No. He like I said, he had probably one of the biggest, scariest back rowers in the game running at him, and he's never going to be, I don't know, who's a half that whacks cunts? Chanel. He's never going to be the half that smacks guys, but Sammy Walker has a red hot crack every time defensively.
Give me Sammy Walker.
Yeah.
That brings me to my point with this game as well, with South and Roosters. I think there's a real opportunity to attack their edges with Sam Walker and Luke Keary. One of my mates put this point up the other day, Champ Weasel. He goes, do you think it's going to be a hindrance for him to have 2 lighter halves? Both those guys that defend, you know that they'll put their body in front, but there are genuine chances to get quick play of the balls. And Manly just didn't take advantage of it. So what they were doing is, Ches was sort of just throwing it, Manly were throwing it at Olakuatu, run over him and then try to score a try. You've got to set it up. So I reckon you'll see the Rabbitohs attack Walker to build momentum and then come with that shift to the left-hand side where they love it so much, picking on a guy like, Joseph Marner's out there, but Billy Smith, I think, played on the wing for him.
Yeah.
Toops is going to be solid on the left-hand side with... did Momorowski play centre? Did he end up playing centre? I'm just having a... he did. He played centre. He did play centre
Billy
this week.
Smith's on the wing, yeah. What about
I reckon we might see some traffic coming down that edge. Well, they play that. It's not like it's a new shape for them, so you might see more Latrell runs off the back of it, or Cody Walker, a little show and go.
What about the big storyline? Obviously, is going to be Latrell versus Joey Manu Ice, your boy. Based off what happened last year, does either guy still hold a grudge? Does either guy still give a fuck? Or more importantly, does either team still hold that grudge? And do we expect... Because Cody Walker's got a boil over in him, Latrell's got one in him, those boys don't mind it, and obviously Jared and Victor Radley can get up too. Like, are you expecting that sort of fiery encounter? Or
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Is it going to be spoke about is what I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They'll try and do any narrative in around this game. Like, it's the oldest like rival in the whole game since 1908. So there's a genuine hatred between these two clubs as well. So that's already there. Then they throw that narrative on top. I think it's going to be there. Do they hate each other? I don't know. Yeah. That's probably a question you have to ask them. I mean, when you hear them talk about it in the media, they say no. Yeah. But there'd be underlying tension there for sure.
Scope. I mean, you were part of those Manly versus Storm days. You know that bit of underlying tension. Does it help you, hinder you?
I played under 18s and 20s at the Roosters, and Sticks used to come into our sheds before first grade games and talk about the importance of this game against South. And we got in a few knuckles against them because Stick used to fire us up. Like, that's legit. Like, South and Roosters...
It's a proper hatred. Yeah.
There's a proper rivalry. The rivalry between Manly and Melbourne was legit as well because they were the two best teams for 10 years through a period. But, yeah, this is... I'm excited for this game. I'm leaning towards South.
That's where I was going to go. Give me a prediction, Scope.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards South.
Roosters 1-12. I think they just kick them out of the game.
Roosters 13 plus. I think they.
I reckon physically you're going to see this is a must-win game for South. And
who's going to be more physical in that side over the Roosters? Like, who are they going to bully? No,
they're not going to bully anyone. I say physically they're going to be just because
maybe Jai Arrow will have a crack.
It was the same point with the Panthers with the Dragons. I said physically the Dragons are going to have a crack, and I think that's what it's going to. Dragons didn't get the chocolates. South might not get the chocolates as well, but physically I think they're going to be really up for this game.
Hey, why was Cam Murray on the bench?
So that was literally just a coaching decision. So he said that he wanted to take that first. He brought him on after 8 minutes. So he said the plan was to take that sting, that first 10 minutes, let the physicality subside, and then inject him in the game. So, I understand.
Nah, it's trying to be too smart.
Yeah, I think you're trying to be too
put Cam Murray out, take him off.
I actually heard Shandor said it on Kempy's podcast this week. He goes, if he's good enough to start for New South Wales, he goes, you're not out thinking Brad Fittler in New South Wales. He goes, start your best player. He's your captain too. And
Melbourne.
And I mean, it's, Saliva obviously did a good job, but it's not Cam Murray. So, that was a one-time thing because he's named him this week to start. So, look, he had a crack at back.
Name him skipper and then start him. Yeah, some of these coaches some coaches try to overthink things, and you're like we're talking about with Fitzy. You were saying with Moiser where he speaks to you like a human being and
simple.
Just don't
overthink it.
Yeah,
don't overthink it. And look, if you are like me and sometimes you overthink your sexual performance, not just your performance on the field, you can actually head to steadyfreddy.com.au and enter promo code YKTR15. So the new sponsor of the show, Scope.
Yeah, the Steady Freddy.
Steady Freddy. So
I'm due as well at home. So this is a great time. Great timing.
The best thing about this is, look, the last place, I'm sure you guys have played footy. I'm sure before big games, there's a bit of anxiety that creeps in.
Yeah.
The last place you want anxiety creeping in is the bedroom. So jump on to Steady Freddy, cop yourself the delay spray. Basically, it's a simple 4 sprays. Fuck like a porn star.
4 of the best.
4 of the best, Scope.
I love that.
It's simple. They got ready wipes. They got condoms. Everything you need to ensure that you perform at your peak, guys.
I might be gone by 4 of the best, so I'm going to get in there nice and early.
Yeah, there you go. So Scope will be using it. That's
I've got to have sex first.
YKTR15 and jump on there. Support the boys. Steady Freddy. Right, let's move on to top of the table. Panthers versus the Knights. Didn't think we'd be saying this after 3 rounds early in the season, but true to form, man. Newcastle are doing their thing. KP back in the mix. Let's mix it up. Let's start with you here. Talk to me about the Panthers. Nath has been named in the extended squad, which I'm sure, Scope's got into, but we've just heard from Nath, actually. I'm trying to figure out where we've inserted this, Lukey. Sorry, bro. Panthers, talk to me.
Yeah, Panthers just doing what they are. They're at their elite level now where everyone's getting up to play them. They don't have to be at their best all the time. But they still need to keep collecting 2 points along the way. And obviously Sean O'Sullivan's done a good job for those boys as well. I think that interaction with Kikau, seen behind the scenes, they never used to show that stuff back in the day in football.
With his family.
With his family and flying his family over. That stuff matters and sort of shows the human element into sports. And you see this big towering figure with blonde hair and see him break down and cry.
As soon as I saw that, bro, I thought... So Chico sent it to me and he's like, bro, this is gone. And straight away I was like... Get on this cunt for anytime try scorer, and I didn't, and he fucking skittled us.
Yeah, anyway, scored a couple.
Anyway.
The Panthers just doing what they need to do. The other side, they're going to have to start worrying about Origin and stuff like that soon. So all these points early on really matter, and obviously Nathan Cleary potentially coming back or is coming back.
Yep.
I think it sets a whole new level. They're just going to go up and up and up. So interesting.
Shout out Taylor May as well. We've obviously been massive reps on him.
He's good, bro.
He's got himself a wing spot now, and Isaac Tago has been... I mean, we knew based on what like Caleb has said about him and everyone said about him coming in, it was going to be a gun. I did not think he was going to be this good this early. He's breaking tackles for a fucking giggle. But Scope...
Against men, bro.
Oh, he's a fucking freak. And Taylor May's going to be special. Scope, Panthers, talk to me.
Talking about the Dragons, when they played them, I thought the Dragons were really impressive. Panthers weren't even. Panthers played about a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 and got the job done. I said, I've written down, you can't make mistakes against the Panthers because they'll make you pay. Like, it didn't take... It was just a charge down on Benny Hunt. Just didn't get his depth right. You make a small mistake, they're going to score on you.
It was a classic Steve Price charge down too. He had the full two hands
it was
up.
clean. It was clean as.
You got to be brave to do charge downs.
Oh, bro, I'll be turning like that every time.
And then they've got the ultimate next up mentality at the moment. Players that are stepping in, are well coached. There's good systems there. I know guys, even from Ivan down to everyone's trying to get their assistant coaches. Everyone's trying to mould what they're doing in the junior development system. That I know some guys are down there. Penrith, man, we talked about them a little bit with the dynasty. Yeah, they're well and truly in it. Like a guy like Sean O'Sullivan, who's looked just okay at the Warriors when he's played in spurts.
Looks like a world beater.
Took a bit of a dive. It took a bit of a dive, which I didn't.
He's doing the Nick ones too.
When I got Dragons plus 11.5, geez, I give him a spray. Fucking O'Sullivan copped a massive spray because Jaden Stewart got sent for 10, which probably could have been done for Spencer. I think it was Spencer Linu later in the game. He comes and hits Telltale Moan a little bit late, and that wasn't pulled up. But Panthers very impressive.
I think Spencer Linu is like he's got to be one of the most. Not slept on. What am I trying to say?
He'd be like Isaac Liu of the Roosters.
I reckon he's the hardest.
He
looks like one of the hardest blokes to tackle that probably doesn't get that tag attached to him too much. But by the end of the year, people are going to be going, fuck. He's very similar to Isaac Liu. The footwork is just elite.
Yeah, he'll just get, because he's in a team of superstars, so he won't get the raps and stuff like that. But everyone knows within that knows footy, and everyone from that team would love him.
Yeah. Talk about the ex-ice. Newcastle. God damn.
Fuck you.
Shout out fucking Dally M leader Jakey Clifford.
Fuck you. Nice, man. I'm actually pumped for him, mate, to be honest. Like, they're winning without Kalen actually being Kalen, you know what I mean? So that's probably getting him a little bit more excited as well. Man, we were on here bagging the halves, not bagging him. We were like, they're going to struggle. Question marks over him. They've rocked up and they've been elite. They're setting up the tries. They're putting themselves in the game. My favourite guy right now, pink tights Gagai.
Yes.
Got the BSC tights on. Nice and low, dude. Down the Pomeroy's, almost down on the knees.
Yeah.
He's just putting on a clinic right now, just showing what kind of centre he is. He's affecting the game in attack. He's affecting the game in defence. He's covering up. He's just been good to watch as well. But where was this last year, man?
Scope, I was rather disrespectful and dismissive of you when you shouted out Dominic Young pre-season. And look,
yes, so was I.
This podcast should just be called When Scope Was Right because, geez, old Dreadlock Predator out on the wings going all right.
Yeah, but one thing we were wrong on, and we were wrong on, was the halves. And one thing now I'm looking back, and I know it's only early, it's only a couple of games in, just the Joey effect. Like Joey's effect on, it doesn't necessarily, because everyone wants it to translate to competitions. Like they talk about when Joey come to Manly in 2012-13, Ches and Foz were flying. You look at the development that Mitch Moses and Dylan Brown are now, where they are now, and what they've shown over the last couple of years, where there were question marks on them before. Every halves pairing's improved, and I heard him talking about it on Footy Show. I think it was last week, and it was just about not overcomplicating things. And I've written down the first two games, Knights went out with the mentality not to lose the game.
Yeah.
So they completed it higher, that 88% against the Tigers, just knowing that the Tigers are going to be the Tigers. When you think when you look at it like that, it's almost like, fuck, how didn't I pick this game? You know, it was frustrating as I was watching the game unfold. Even with the Tigers, which we'll get to, like Tigers win the toss and they go against the wind, like just shit like that, and you just go,
God damn it, Kenny!
Why the fuck am I backing? Why am I backing the Tigers? Because wind can fucking die off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Joey, they asked Joey during commentary because he was commentating the game. They go, Joey, what would you do? He goes, wind every day of the week, because as you've seen in that game, it just
Kenny Mamala's a winger. You think he'd be on that?
See, well, that brings me to another concern with the Tigers. We'll go back to him, with that. Who makes that decision? It
was Mamala.
No, coaches make this decision.
Coaches make those decisions.
Not
right?
the captain.
No, they'll go to the captain. They go, which way we're going to go, where we're going to receive, and win. Yeah. So again, but 5 captains. Maybe you're speaking to the wrong captain. Who knows? Maybe he thought fucking Brooksy was captain and. Kenny Mamalo's flipping the coin. Just little dumb shit like that. Anyway, that's what pissed me off in the Knights game. But the Knights, unreal. That even though they scored some, pretty nice tries, it wasn't overly hard
some
for them to
arsey
do.
tries in there.
Tigers were out on their feet because they ran against the wind for the first half and couldn't get any field position, and they just did the job. And again, I don't think they'll against the Panthers. Obviously, think the Panthers are going to win the game, but they won't lose it. They won't. They won't. They'll make it. I reckon they'll make it tricky. This is another one of those games. I think they're going to make it tricky. I'm betting on this game at all, but I just have a feeling Knights are going to make this game tricky as well.
I'm going to do 2 last Newcastle shout-outs. I think Tyson Frizzell could fuck around and get Dally and back row of the year this year, which I would not have thought pre-season. With all the amazing back rows in the comp, he has been fucking
And that's
unreal.
not on Tyson Frizzell, just what you thought the Knights were going to be.
And Mr. 257, Matty Croker. I don't know he had
Yeah,
this much.
Craigs.
I don't know he had this much to his game. I thought he was a little bit old school.
He's a toiler.
He's a toilet, but he's coming on.
Crokes is a
pushing-
toiler. Don't worry about
He's pushing
Crokes.
offloads. He's finding his front. He's coming on with energy. So, look, he's cemented that spot. You know, he's now he's been picked. You know, every game. So
Hey, everyone looks good on the winning side, though.
Yeah.
So this is the challenge, and they're going to be getting after it.
Yeah.
And Panthers is just going to be like, this ain't going to be an easy game as well. So I still think Panthers smack them.
I think, I've loved Newcastle's start to the year. I think they, in some respects, come crashing back down to earth a little bit here. I think they get reminded of what the cream of the cream is in this one.
Yeah. I can see that as well. Like a bigger score, like 20 points, but like
Late.
So it might be 60, 65 minutes. They finally blow them out.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being like a 30-10, but it might be like 18-10 with about 10 minutes to go. That sort of vibe.
Nathan Cleary come back, boom, a little floater straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Dominic
Shit, I
Young.
forgot
going,
about Nath. Yeah. Actually.
Could be in clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're all going Panthers then. Let's move on to, if you're not a Warriors fan, this is legitimately the game of the round. Storm versus the Eels. Harry Grant, unfortunately, is the big out, contracted COVID. He's in the house with Cheese and Tyron Wishart, so I don't know what they're going to do there. But
they would be moving him out. I reckon they'll chuck him in a hotel room or...
Jesus already had COVID.
Yeah, but Wishart's been named to play, so I don't know. Ice, let's start with you again on this one. Storm, Pappy got the field goal, got the job done.
Yeah, I don't think they look as invincible as what they used to look last year. I think last year they used to roll through and you knew they were just going to pump sides and put almost 30, 40, 50, 60 points on. They just don't look as invincible as what they used to be anymore. And I know they've had a few injuries, but they're still the Storm. They're still going to win games. They're still going to find a way. I think they started the game really well. I think Munster coming back was a great inclusion, scored a great try. So we'll pump for that as well. But Pappy, man, he's clutch. Yeah. He's proven that now. And I think it's important.
He wasn't goal kicking throughout because he had a bung ankle, and then he steps up when the game's on the line and smacks it anyway.
Yeah, Harry Grant's going to cruise. But yeah, like I love, like I think Pappy's the coolest looking dude, and like his uniform, his hair looks fucking mad. Yeah. But he's just clutch. And I think if you get that one very early on in your career, it sets you up for the rest of your career. And there's a lot of guys that have missed plenty of those shots. He's not that guy. He's clutch. I'm pumped for this game.
You spoke about how good the Dragons look when Benny Hunt's being direct and taking the line on. Jerome is probably the best example of a half playing confident when he's running. Like, he was unreal over the weekend.
It's the best part of his game.
Yeah.
Like, and he doesn't go away from it. And when you get the 7 on your back and you're meant to organise all the teams, sometimes you can get stuck playing traffic cop and going, get me here, get me here.
He doesn't care the number.
Yeah, he doesn't care what number he's wearing. He still plays exactly the same. So he sets his shape up for his runs and just keeps doing it. It's hard to stop. He's not a big dude. He's quick. He's
must be strong, bro.
Yeah. Ducks, got the headgear on. He's good, bro.
The Maloney Duck. Storm.
It's grouse when Harry Grant can straighten you up like he does.
Yeah.
It allows you to run, allows you to get on the ball, allows you to play off momentum. Cam Munster and Jerome Hughes could play fullback at any other team, basically. Like, apart from Manly and Roosters, like if you put them in a one jersey for Melbourne or any other team, they'll do a job, and that's why they're the best running halves. In the competition easily.
Money looked like fullback Money when he screamed up for that try.
Fuck! I love seeing the press run to the middle for a bit of anytime jam for the kitty.
He looked quick, man. I don't know if he gets there last year. You know what I mean? He looked rapid.
He knows how to get there. Don't worry, he can find a line no matter what. But and that sounded bad. Just when I heard that coming out of my voice, I was like, he's in good nick this year, boys. He's in really good nick. You can see how fit he is. Being off the piss and off the punt has served him really well.
Don't cut your hair either, but I love it.
Yeah, he put up a poll. Should I cut the hair? A couple of weeks ago, I said, "Don't you fucking dare cut that hair."
What, the Lockie Lewis cut? Leave it.
He's looking grouse. Him and even
Don't
like waving
his name in there.
wavy little Harry Grant waving the hair around. Pap's got the mullet. Like, got some really good dudes there.
They're getting ready for Redcliffe.
They're getting ready for fucking Downtown Abbey. They're going
there's
over
an announcement today on all three of them. I believe. Well, there has to be a decision on contract decision on Grant, Munster, and Jerome Hughes today. I believe is 5 o'clock is the deadline.
From who? From Melbourne.
So
that's a big take. Is that correct?
No, that's Melbourne's deadline. I'm sure if they ask for more time, they'll push it out. But I believe is Braith still managing Prez?
I think he's just taken over. Yeah.
So my understanding is that decision is made today for all three.
Well, guess what? That didn't work out with Jack Bird at the Dragons as well. So when clubs do this and they put him in that position, I understand it because they've got to be wary and like they've got to have a contingency plan. Like they've got to be ready to go back up if something.
If they lost all three, eh?
Fuck, bro.
It'll never happen, but just imagine.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I know. rumour mill swirling that my boys threw the fucking kitchen sink at Jerome Hughes, and I don't know if the offer ever got opened. So I don't know. He's definitely not going to last. There you go.
How much cap would
Them three take up.
No. So just all right. So go.
Let's play experiment.
So yeah, let's experiment. So Harry's been linked to Redcliffe. Is that the big one?
That's the big one.
They'd pay $1 million for him.
Yeah, easy.
Fucking
Yeah.
A. At his age
And
too.
some.
Jerome at the Warriors. 750.
Apparently it was 8. So-
8.
He's worth that, yeah.
Fucking
A.
8. 5 pay 8s for him. Munster. Who's Munster been linked to?
Redcliffe.
Redcliffe as well.
Yeah.
And you get they don't really have any big names yet. They've got all experienced middles.
Pappy's re-signed, but that's only their big contract sort of they're sitting on. Obviously lost Cheese.
What's the salary cap? Lukey, do you know the salary
I think
cap?
is it
10,
10-2? 10-2, I think, at the moment.
Hey, I tell you what, if I go Mill, Prez, Mill, Harry, geez, I'm a very happy Wayne Bennett.
Yeah.
But I'm a very disappointed
Bellamy.
Oh, well, I think Bellamy's even tossing up what he might do. I think
Yeah.
it'll come down to what these guys end up doing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think you're very likely to keep 2 and lose 1, but we'll wait and see. I don't know. Let's talk Periscope.
Yeah.
The team that you love to hate and everyone thinks you bash, but you secretly love. What do you make of them in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm going to bash Mitch Moses here a little bit.
Oh, no.
I think he's put a target on his head now. He's
With the Benji comments?
No, I didn't even see them. I just carrying on a little bit with that try, Jesse Ramian, who was trying to...
It wasn't bad, that one.
It wasn't bad at all. He was... If you don't want to get tackled, we'll just put the ball down as soon as you cross the line. He's trying to straighten up to get underneath the post. He's lucky Wonga Blake was there again.
Yeah.
Because Jesse Ramian sort of just looked at him. He backlashed on Jesse Ramian, who's one of the nicest guys ever too. So
He's still flog you.
Yeah. He sort of got up and like, what's doing? Because he didn't even hit him that hard. But the one where he got
Legs taken out.
legs taken, is it what's his name?
Yeah, it was up the back rower, something with a W.
Wake. How do you pronounce his name?
Anyway, carry
I'm
on. I'll
all
get
for
it.
that
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I think if he carries on a little bit like that, it's just going to create unnecessary pressure coming his way. And I think Storm will come at Moses this week. I think they'll put all the pressure on him.
Yeah.
The scene that he was
Teague
sort of,
Wilton.
Teague Wilton.
That was pissing me off.
I was going Weeg.
What do you make of the para performance ice and Mitchie Moses in particular?
Yeah, he's probably at that point now where when he come into the league, he was kind of like that. Like a lot of the guys around the league didn't really like him, but he's he's matured up. He's become that player, but now he's at that point now where he needs to move to that next phase. Where you look at people like Jonathan Thurston, every time they were in the line, boom, on his back.
Smack. Yeah.
Cooper Cronk every time in the line, in his back. And that's what takes him from like where Mitch Moses is now to that next little point. You look at someone like Nathan Cleary, he gets taken out a lot, doesn't really react. Sometimes he would. It is scary, bro, when you're kicking in someone's underneath you.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes that's just a reaction stuff. But I think I agree with Scope. Like if you're looking at Mitch Moses, and he's their best player, and results dictate on him, you're going after him straight away.
We spoke about it yesterday because he got there was a few articles getting around and comments bashing Mitchell Moses for. So basically, he went on Benji's new show. Shout out Benji. Stop wearing the puffer vest, but great show. They mentioned he basically spoke about how he didn't feel protected. I think the comments were taken way out of context.
Yeah,
They made him sound like a sook when it was taken. But if you
No,
listen
he
to
didn't
the
sound like a
interview,
sook. He
yeah,
didn't
I
sound
implore
like
you
a-
to listen to it in its entirety because he was genuinely just saying, if you're coming at my legs, that's when injuries happen. And obviously, you're a former half. You know that's the no-go zone.
That's a no-go zone for anyone, not even halves or whatever. Yeah,
It's the old-
it's only halves really.
that's the
that kick,
cannonball
but yeah, if
tackle,
you do
same
that
thing.
shit, that's rank. But
His style of kicking is very jumpy as well.
Yeah,
like,
he
not
gets
many,
fucking up.
not many guys jump when they kick.
Yeah.
It's like him and Jerome Hughes. He's got a bit of a rugby union style.
Yeah.
Like
it'd be half a tactic as well too to get a penalty. If you can get
yourself.
a bit of
it's
launch
not-
and to get hit, like
it's not worth it, man.
yeah.
Benny Hunt does those ones where he just stabs and leans back. He gets about that high off the ground.
Yeah,
So,
it's hard. Those ones are hard when you you want to be kicking on the move as well. So
Yeah.
obviously, like Mitch Moses has got one of the biggest boots, especially for a right footer.
Yeah.
It's usually the left footers that got the big ones, but he can smack him, bro.
Yeah. Well, let's
Is he
talk.
playing right again or Dill Brown's been? I'm trying to think.
Dill Brown's been playing on the left, so he goes right. Yeah.
Bro, Dill Brown, he must be so strong. Like he sort of skips in and goes through the middle and just goes boof.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, Munster, like they can't really get him down. Dill Brown's like that.
That's my point with Moses.
Corey used to be like that. Like it's just stand and attack.
Watch Prez come after Moses this week. I bet you.
Lippy.
Yeah, Lippy, Chirpy. He's going to put some pressure on him. Who's Kenny Bromwich on that left side too?
Yeah.
If he's kicking on the right hand side, they're going to put a shitload of pressure on him this week.
Justin Olam.
Back down at Amy Park Ice. Final prediction. Where are you going? No Harry Grant. Keep in mind.
Oh, is it Amy Park?
Amy
I'll
Park.
I'll go Storm. I was actually
close one?
Yeah, if it was up here, I would have gone Para.
Yeah.
I think they'll be disappointed after that loss. I think when they're in that Sharks game, bro, they had 33 tackles inside their 20, where Sharks only had 3 at about 60 minutes in. So I think they're trying to fix up their attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Scopes kind of swung me around.
Yeah. Lukey, I'm sorry. I've made a massive mistake. I've forgotten the biggest news off the top.
Oh, yeah.
Which we're probably going to have to edit, but Widemu Greg has been named on the bench for the Parramatta Eels. $14 anytime. If you hate money, don't follow this bet. Widemu Greg Scope. That's it. I don't care whether they're playing on the Moon or Amy Park. I'm going Parramatta because Widemu's in the side, baby.
Yeah, you've got me. I was leaning towards Melbourne Storm too, but the cult hero of Parramatta, who should be the cult hero of the NRL, Widemu Greg.
Yeah.
He's back, baby.
He's back. Up the Eels.
Now I can try to get him in the mudders by the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is your big chance, Widemu. Don't fuck it up, man. Let's go. All right. And Raiders versus the Titans is the following game. Obviously, the Josh Hodgson injury we touched on off the top is the big one, but they welcome back Geordie Rapana.
Ooh.
Gold Coast after beating my boys going
And
down there.
Kotrick was out as well.
Kotrick was out as well.
Ooh.
So it's an intriguing game, this one. I think it's going to be... the lines are pretty close. The Titans are just slight outsiders in this one. Ice, talk to me about Canberra.
Yeah, yuck performance.
Yep.
You know, sometimes they used to say this about the Warriors. You don't mind going over there and losing. It's probably like the one game you don't mind losing back in the day. I think like sometimes it's kind of like the Townsville one. Like it's kind of especially early on, like when it's hot up there. It's like the rain back in Auckland. But yeah, they got that yuck performance out the way. Rough game to watch, but obviously with Geordie Rapana in there, there's always a chance. He's always up for anything. I think Kotrick comes back in as well. So really good game. I'm really looking forward to it. 2 different styles. Really like watching the Titans play. They're one of my favourite sides to watch right now.
I reckon, me too, bro.
I love just the way that they attack, and it's very like shifty, and they attack's their best form of defense. And Bremo's back in and gets a line break first touch and all that sort of shit. They're a good side to watch. So 2 different styles, but I still think it's going to be a really good game.
The Gold Coast fuck around with that, like we'll win 30-28, and be sort of.
I think that's who they're going to have to be.
And I love that.
Moment.
Parramatta were like that a couple of years ago a little bit. They've obviously tightened the screws, but Scope, what did you like or dislike about Canberra last week?
Yeah, I just written down Raiders were a victim of early rounds in Townsville, going up there during summer and getting those real muggy nights. When it wasn't happening for them and they weren't, making a few errors, they were even trying to little tip-ons that weren't working. It just wasn't happening for them early on. And with the Titans, I've written down the versatility of Campbell and Brimson's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
So they don't have to necessarily play that. One of them has to play that fullback role. They'll be able to sweep on either side. And even with Campbell, who got on, which try was it? The left-hand side. Who scored?
Not both Firma.
Later on. Anyway, Campbell was on the ball early and Brimo was out the back. And I think that'll serve them well. The versatility that those 2 guys are going to be able to have. But I think Raiders will be ready for this one. This is, one of those games where I was sort of just...
You want to bounce back, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, you move that. It's easier to coach a team when you're lost than it is when you've come off a win. So some of these early rounds, taking those teams that had a poor performance, it would have been easier for Todd Payton to get the boys up. I like Todd Payton, man. Every time I hear him talk, I like Todd Payton. I watch his post-game interview. There was a bit of...
I enjoyed him at the Warriors when he was there, when he took over halfway through. He's like nice and direct.
Yeah.
He speaks very direct.
He does, and he speaks pretty simple as well.
I went off him just because of the Talmalolo stuff. I just didn't like that handling of that.
Yeah.
But
I think he's got a
them
plan
playing
with
well.
it. I think he's got a plan with it.
That was Talmalolo's best game last week.
No, he was ready to go.
Those ones again.
He even said himself in the post-game interview with Todd Payton that he was a run short. He didn't play any of the trials. So
he always does it against Josh Papali'i as well. Like I don't know whether it's certainly not a personal hatred, but it's like a personal challenge. Every time they play each other, whether it's at international level or Samoa Tonga, whatever it is, every time those 2 play, they both just fucking rip into each other.
Sometimes not only just individuals, but teams, like certain players' style as well. You tend to come off and I always play well against them. You might not necessarily know why. It's just like the makeup of the team. But he was impressive. I was talking about the Cowboys. I thought we were talking about the Cowboys there for a little bit. Raiders and the Titans.
Where are you going?
Fuck it, the Titans. But not confident, obviously.
I like the Titans. If I were a betting man, I'd be taking the points. I think it's 3.5. I think they can wiggle past them. I just think they've got more points than them. And I think losing Josh Hodgson, they'll take a week or 2 to really click back into that. So Playing down in Canberra is obviously tough, but I'm going to go the Titans.
Yeah, I've gone Raiders,
Yeah.
but I hope the Titans win.
Yeah.
I'd rather the Titans win, but I think the Raiders will.
Yeah, all right. Well, if you're not going to take the points, make sure you take us up on Manscaped promo code because we are brought to you by Manscaped. Head to manscaped.com, chuck in promo code ICE, ICE, or SCOPE. You know the drill. It's 20% off. It's free shipping. Here's what you do, Scope. You use promo code Scope. You get 20% off Manscaped. You get yourself trimmed, get yourself smelling fresh, get yourself ready. Then you go to Steady Freddy, chuck in promo code YKTR15, get 15% off that.
You set.
And then pump some BSC afterwards.
Pump some BSC to replenish yourself.
It's a dream run.
For you, that's your dream run.
Well, you're having a pun on Earn You.
So if you do all that and that extra $15 that you've saved, chuck that on Whittam McGregor anytime try and score, but head to manscaped.com.au and support the boys. All right, 2 more games to go before we get your boys out of here. Broncos versus Cowboys. I'm super excited about this one.
So am I.
I think maybe just the fact that Reynolds is back, now the Broncos are one of my favourite teams to watch, and your son, Peter Hiku, is always good to watch up there as well. Talk to me about the Broncos, Scope. What'd you make of them last week and going into this one?
I thought this was people are sleeping on this. It's an underrated win for the Broncos against the Dogs. And I'm going to give Kevy some credit. I gave him at the start of the year, I thought, he might be the reason. Because I like the Broncos, but I thought maybe coaching might be a part that lets him down. Seeing Kevy early on in that game, people think just because it's the Dogs, they should have won, and maybe they should have won by more. But coming off a really good win against South, being able to fly down the last game on a Sunday, Jordan Simmy's talking shit as an MC, and getting the job done, no one cares at the end of the year whether you've got an ugly win or a win. They just care about
how many points you got.
You got 2 wins to start the year. I thought it was a really impressive win from the Broncos. I think slowly turning into my favourite centres combination over the Dragons boys is Katoni and Herbie, because Herbie fully loaded had a day out.
That's my next haircut too. I'm taking in a photo of Herbie. I'm saying, hit me the farm with.
And Katoni's been quiet in the first couple of rounds. He hasn't even got into it, and the Broncos have won 2 from 2. So that's those are good signs for the Broncos. Once he starts clicking, he's gone close a couple of times to some really big length of the field efforts, tries, and he's sort of just getting into his fitness and getting stronger as he goes on. Broncos, man, I've been really impressed by him.
Let's talk Broncos. We obviously heard Jordan Simmy in the background distracting us, but you were able to watch the game. What'd you make? Yeah,
like Scope was. Herbie Farnworth was probably the career best game and had some really nice touches, and I thought he was good. And it's good when you, like Scope said, when you got 2 strike centres there as well.
Yeah.
And obviously Katoni hasn't even come along yet, which is exciting.
Yeah, like 3 carries until like 10 minutes
should have scored off that flick pass off Ren. That was like a little bit disappointing. That's sort of a walkover. But yeah, I like the Broncos. Beautiful, like just young, talented dudes, and now they've got Ren there as well. Yeah. And Ren will just sort of kick him into games. He knows all the right things to say at the right times. And it's important to know who your leader is at that time. And we look at the Tigers, who are on the other end. I think it'll be exciting for any Broncos fan. I'm looking forward to this game as well.
It's been almost 6 or 7 years since you've genuinely been excited about the Broncos. Like I know
they've got a great brand.
They've got a great brand, man. And when they are they've got these young, exciting players. Like we all know what Payne Haas can do. But you got Ricky, Farnworth, Staggs, Tessie New, I thought was really good in his first game. Like, they're an exciting team to watch.
is nice with him. He starts with him
as well. He's really nice. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about
the halves. You see him just picking up loose balls and flicking them straight away.
Holding him off. The halves, obviously, Reynolds came back, made an immediate impact. The combination of him, Kelly, and then I thought Billy Walters coming on did a job too. What do you make of them? Yeah,
Billy Walters has grown on me. Yeah,
why can't anyone tackle him?
I don't know. He's probably obviously got great IQ for the game as well.
He's not duck and weave.
Must be pretty strong up top as well. He's getting line breaks.
He's not rapid, but he's
Wade Egan's the same as well.
Yeah,
like he's not a big dude, but he's getting line breaks. Cam Smith used to get line breaks. So it's more so about understanding the game and knowing when to run more so than anything. I do like the combination with Albert Kelly as well, because that reminds me kind of Cody Walker, that sort of natural footballer where Ren can set you up and get you in positions and sort of let talent take over in certain positions. I think that's really important for them. Gives them a nice touch, but I don't know. I just like the Broncos. I think they've always just been a cool club to watch.
Cool colours.
I think you see, cool colours. They're branded well. Used to be sponsored by Nike. Used to be stacked up with Origin players. Best stadium back in the day. Friday night, you seem to always see them. Yeah. And you always expect the Broncos to go well. So they always went well when I was playing too. So they're kind of like the big dogs.
I'm happy for Albie, man. Albie's been their
best
player.
Was awesome.
He's been he's chasing back from the left
hand
side
to be there.
Get there. Yeah,
just
a footy player kept on moving, and then even that little try he put on at the start, just like nice little kick. He's just a footy player, Albie. So I'm pumped. I'm happy for him because when you spend some time out of the Super League, sometimes you get lost. Moving on to the Cowboys, I thought that was really impressive. Like Todd Payton, he's building something. Like he's trying to build something. They've got Luciano Leilua coming up there next year, Tom. He's going to be part of their pack. I like Tom Gilbert. Cohen Hess has been really impressive the last 18 months in the middle. If they can work this shit out with JT, get Tomalolo back to, or give him some help, because he didn't have help for a long time.
Nah.
I think a lot of it was like he was worn down and probably wasn't playing his best footy because he was fucking tired from carrying that forward pack for maybe 3 or 4 years. It felt like post Matt Scott, Jimmy Tamo, when he had the big dogs there with him. And Gavin Cooper was really underrated as a back row. He had a lot of senior players that he lost in a quick amount of time, and there's a bit of a rebuild happening in that pack, but.
And then he has to lead as well, do the speeches.
And
I feel like there's a plan. I feel like Todd Payton's got a bit of a plan. I'm not sold long term on the halves. I think they're going to be stopgap halves for him. Okay. Respectfully to Tommy Dearden, I know he loves Tommy Dearden. He's talked about Tommy Dearden as well, about how he competes on a lot of plays. Chatty's always going to give you and do your job. Be nice and steady, but they'll be tricky. They'll be one of those teams. And then again, moving on to the centres. Pet and Val, they defend aggressively on the edge. Yeah. They're going to come in. They're going to come in hard at. So there's going to be some opportunities. I think if you're going to be looking at some anytime jam, I think this is a pretty good chance to get on the wingers for either side. Yeah. Because I was talking yesterday about Katoni's defensive strategy. So if you ever watch him from a long shift, sometimes the line will get up to a certain point and then it'll stop after 10 metres. Katoni backs his speed. And he backs Selwyn Cobbo, who sits back, where he shoots all the way out of the line. And what that tries to do is tries to send him back in. But there is an opportunity to fake and then throw over the top. So I think there might be a fair few tries on the edges this week because both teams they defend aggressively, and Pet will get Pet will pick you off. You know what I mean? They're smart, and so will Val. So it could go the other way as well. So if you're having a little nibble on them. The way that they their defensive structures could lead to a couple of tries to the edges.
Ice, what about Scope just touched on in the halves, Tommy Dearden and Chad Townsend. What have you made of them at the start of the year?
I like him.
Yeah, so do I.
I just like him. Yeah. I like him, for the job that they're trying to do. That's my I didn't mean to talk. Clifford vibes? Same again, Clune and Clifford. I'm happy to be wrong, and when you're wrong, absolutely. I'm happy to be wrong on that. And they're just going to do a job, but they're not the future. Let's not be silly. Yeah,
when they rock up against Nathan, Cleary and Jerome, it's a bit of a different story, or your Munsters and Hughes. But they're doing a job for him. And I like to see after the game in the change rooms, Chad Townsend sort of talking to Tommy Dearden and giving him a bit of direction as well. Like Chad Townsend's good games and bad games, there's not much difference between them as well. So that's an important part when you're the half, when you're the captain. You actually know exactly what you're going to get out of him, and not just in games from Monday to Friday in terms of training and all that sort of stuff as well. So he just might be the little steady thing that they need.
Positive influence. Like he's a good locker room guy.
I see Cowboys maybe 5-6 wins in total for the year. I think anything more than that will be a bonus, but I can't see him go past that.
It's another one when Scope was right. But you mentioned all year they're going to be tough to beat up there, right? Like the side's good enough that they're going to be a tough beat. But I also wanted to make a shout out to the Jeremiah Nanai.
He's good, bro.
He's so good that he's keeping Helam Lukey out of the starting side. And Helam Lukey was the guy that came into this year with all the reps on him, and he's a big athletic freak, and he's going to be a good player. But at 19 years old, Nanai has come on. He's like Chad Townsend's default. He's hitting him early. He's hitting him late. He's not coughing up balls. He's chasing kicks. He's
doing everything, bro.
He's very.
Been unreal.
When Eli Katoa came on for my boys late last year and sort of was punching holes and scoring tries. And I don't know how long this lasts because obviously with young back rowers it tends to taper away.
It's tough
by the end of the season. But he's had an unreal start to the year. So I just wanted to shout out Jeremiah Nanai. All right, Ice, where are you going? It's the Queensland battle. Who are you picking here at Suncorp?
Suncorp, Sunday Arvo, a few beers at the Caxton rolling in. I think Bronx pump him, eh?
Yeah, pump him. There we go.
Pump him.
I think it's a close one. I think Broncos just get him in a really good game.
Yeah, my love for Peter Hiku is too deep to go against him. I'm going to go the Cowboys and there you go. Shout out Peter Hiku. All right, and lastly...
You love Pet more than me, I
love Pet, of course I do, man. He's the best.
He's a Warrior's great.
Him and Jerome Ropati. Yeah. Right, let's go. Last game of the round. It's a very Sunday game, this one. Manly versus Bulldogs. Scope, you've got to talk to me, man. We knew that the start of last year, we knew what happened. 0-4 into Tommy's unreal season and an unreal run. The concerning thing here is the 0-2 start has coincided with a fit Tommy. Talk to me, mate. Your boys are bottom of the ladder. What's going on?
Yeah, they're physically losing the they're losing the physical battle to start off with, especially in the middles. They're just not getting themselves into any position to start a game well. Couple of errors, penalties, they leak yardage early on, and just every time I'm watching them, it feels like it's quick play the ball for whether it be the Roosters this week or Penrith the week before off the back of his AEL. Feels like they're always on the back foot. No one's ever controlling the tackle. Just don't really feel like they've got a plan B at the moment.
Yeah.
Some shit that worked for them against poor teams last year that didn't work against good teams seemed to be rearing its head again. I don't know.
I think if I may here, we've spoke a lot about how the teams that have really impressed us, not all of them, but a lot of them have had these strike centres, and I'm not trying to disrespect Parker and Harper here because we know how unreal they played last year, but when Tommy's not doing everything, I think they lack class and X factor outside of him. Is that fair?
You can't have it all. So
yeah.
you can't,
of course. Yeah,
you can't have
a
gun
peak as big as Tommy. Yeah,
you can't have Tommy and Jakey and Ches, probably more important than centres, and then have the centres
and
there as well.
Zach Lomax and
but they did have Moses Sully.
They did, but you can't have it all. You got to pick and choose. You got to pick your poison when it comes to salary cap as well. So Manly,
what's going wrong with Manly for you, Ice? What have you noticed?
Yeah, the same as you. I think their outside backs great when Tommy's firing and they're scoring tries and putting 60 on lesser teams, but they're just the local bullies.
Yeah,
they can pick on guys that are smaller than them, but when they come up against someone who's same height, same size, looks them square in the eyes.
It's a shit narrative until they prove it wrong.
I think their forward pack goes missing when it comes to the bigger games, especially bigger packs and stuff. And there's enough big guys in there. Marty's a big dude. Kepi's a big dude. Yeah. Olakau'atu's a big dude.
I'd be giving Taniela Pasek a video of just Nelson and saying, "This could be you, bro. You are a fucking giant."
Yeah.
He's still got errors in him.
Taniela had a crack. Taniela had a crack when he came off the bench from him the weekend. But it's just like it's hard as well. Like it's not like a crack at individuals in them in particular.
Yeah, collectively.
It's collectively. They're just not finding their groove, and they're one person's sort of up, the other person's not. And even last year when they played some better games, the bench would come on and have a real impact. Like T-Sips would come off the bench and Kepi, when he wasn't starting, would come off the bench and have a real impact. But again, that was only against the lower ranked teams. They haven't done it against the top 4 teams. And
local bullies, man.
I think to that point,
maybe they get a chance against the Dogs this week.
Their best players this year, Scope, to that point, I think have been Dylan Walker and Carl Lawton, and they've been coming on and bringing a bit of energy. And
well, Carlos got knocked out straight away in the Penrith game
last week,
and then Dylan Walker didn't play as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. When you roll in units, like if you put the back 5 together, they haven't been that great. Bringing like the yardage carries have been kind of a little bit weaker than what they normally were. You look at their pack as a unit; they're not getting quick play the balls. I saw a stat. I don't know if this is true. Someone correct me in the comments, but apparently Tapau and Kepi made 7 meters at halftime.
Yeah, no, that was true. They'd had 3 runs each, and they had both had 7 meters. Yeah.
Well, he's the one. Marty Tapau's the one. They need to get more out of Marty when he's running sideways and not. When I talked about Tino Fasil Malawi last week, I said he never runs past an incomplete tackle. Marty's their lead. He's on the most money for him in the pack. He has to be the one that's leading the way. He's got to carry the ball and get bashed if need be, and then show the other guys because T-Sips, Paseka, Kepi, these guys have
just follow him.
They're 50 gamers. Like you need to have that veteran 200 game. I don't know whether Marty's capable. I don't know. We'll see.
Does it hurt him? Because I think about him at his best. Obviously, having Adam alongside him helped. Because it was
Adam,
like
man, if we could have Adam back in a heartbeat, I'd take fucking Adam over.
But he seems to perform so well at international level as well, and I think it's because he's got Fisher Harris. I don't know whether perhaps Marty's not just the guy. What do you think, guys? I don't know. I mean, he's obviously a gun player. But
Marty's the cherry on top guy.
Yeah.
Like if you've got Marty,
that's what I'm trying to say.
He's a good 2A. He's a good 2.
Great 2.
Yeah.
If you have someone that's going to fucking roll the sleeves up,
he kills it for the Kiwis. Yeah, he kills it. If you're Des Hasler, then Ice, what are you doing right now? It's round 3. You're going into the Bulldogs. What's the message?
Just got to jag a win any way you can. And this is where the same position Manly were in last year. Obviously didn't have Tommy. They went 0-3. They can still turn this around and turn it into a great season as well. But I'm not saying it's desperate right now, but you need to beat the Bulldogs.
It smells desperate, even though it's round 3.
It does, man.
It feels desperate.
Moving on the Dogs quickly.
Yeah,
he's going to froth in a game like this. Tavita Pangai Jr. I can fucking see it already. I can see Tavita's going to watch video. Like he's got to pull back a little bit still. Like even coming over the top to, I think was Jordan Ricky and Payne Haas a couple of times, and he's just doing like
That was personal though.
Yeah, there's personal ones, but I'm pretty sure they're mates. Like I don't know, like
the Island boys though. Like even though they're mates, if you go against each other,
exactly. I know, and then you go a little bit harder, but still, he close to getting sent off again. He's just got to stay on the field. But I reckon he wouldn't be surprised if he has a big game, man. And I think
He's not far off a big game, mate.
Trent Barrett going against Manly and seeing how vulnerable they are now and he's also equally as desperate. When I was watching the game, the Bulldogs game as well, what would you prefer? Matty Burton's bombs or Ren's short kicking game? I've done this before for 10 out of the 10, but when I was, Matty Burton's bombers.
Oh. He's another Mitchell Moses who ends up fucking 5 meters off the ground when he kicks.
Bigger than that.
No, I mean him when he launches. Yeah, those were filthy. Those
The
had
boys
those.
are
I think it's harder to develop a short kicking. Oh no, because you can only generate power. Only certain people have power on the kick. I'll take the bomb and then work on the short game.
Yeah.
So the Manly are pretty good underneath the high ball, but we'll see this week with Matty Burton.
What did you make of Jordan Simi's Bulldogs anyway, and the performance overall?
Yeah, they had a crack, but they should have had a crack because, like I talked about, this is a game that they would have given themselves a chance. Like Broncos just come off a good win against Rabbitohs. Let's go fucking
Jag one from them.
You know, we had a nice win up in Townsville where we probably didn't play well. Their confidence would have
First
been high.
home game.
First home game.
You got Simi hype in the crowd.
Yeah, they played with a lot of energy. They're different from last year. They'll make this tricky. Yeah. This would be a tricky game as well.
Jeremy Marshall-King probably had his best game of his career.
Yeah, Jez is good. I like Jez. He's solid.
What do you make of the Bulldogs, Ice?
Yeah, I still don't like their attack. And we've talked about their system many times on the show as well. But when when it's okay to run that 3-prong attack when your best player touches the ball most of the time. Your Jonathan Thurston's, your DCEs, your Nathan Cleary is probably the best example right now. And he dictates how Matt Burton gets the ball and Matt Duffy gets the ball. I just don't like it. Just don't think it works for him. Just doesn't suit him. I'd rather them go back to a sort of traditional playoff 6-4 splits or 5-5s and get the ball in your best player's hands as much as possible.
I think you're bang on. I reckon they lose this game. I think that happens. I think they're going to adopt a different tactic. And I think unless Jake Averillo pulls something out this week, the way that Kyle Flanagan performed in the New South Wales Cup last week, I know it's only 2 games in and I know he may be completely out of favour.
Nah, he won't get in.
If you shift, I would be throwing Kyle Flanagan.
I reckon they'll go looking outside if anything's going to happen.
Yeah, they won't put Flanagan in. Yeah. Once you're on the outer, you're on the outer. It doesn't matter how well you play,
right?
How well you train, they do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get a prediction, but just quickly, if there's money for Jack Hetherington for a yellow card in this one, he's now had a week without it. This is Jack Hetherington's flow. He's due. So
he's he's quicker than see him chopping down Herbie Farnworth.
No, he looks good. And I tell you what, I was critical of putting him on an edge. I don't mind the big fella out there rattling a few cages.
Couple of drops, but it's because he fucking wants to run through everyone before he catches the ball. He's got to calm down a little bit.
Between him and Tavita?
Mate, him and Tavita would be a fucking headache to coach. Yeah. Like, as physically talented and like as talented as they are, just like you'd be sitting in the box going, especially if it's a close game, please don't fucking head high someone. Or
there was
please
a play in the second half in the last week where Burton put in a nice long kick actually, and Tessie New brought it up, and Hetherington shot up out of line. He just missed him. He was about to clip him high, and you went, oh geez. And then the next play, Tavita shot up and got called for being offside. You're just going, fuck,
mate. I wouldn't be playing.
It was such a nice kick. You know what I mean?
I'd only get the interchange card out for them two to swap with each other because you just couldn't. It'd give me too much head noise.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Ice prediction. Where are you going? Last game of the round. 6 o'clocker.
I think Manly in a close one.
Yep. Scope.
Yeah, Manly in an ugly game, maybe score a couple of late as well, but yeah, I'm not convinced at all.
Tune in, Scope.
Reluctantly.
And for whatever it's worth, I think we get the Manly bounce back. I think Tommy finally ignites, and I hope they put 30 points on and do a job.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Doggies win, to be honest, right now, as I sit here.
All right, that is the YKTR Sports Show for another week. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for PB&J. The betting show's back on tomorrow, baby.